Oh wait, wait, hold on. Wait, we did just get. Wait. Maybe we can get Big Booty in.
Oh,
Oh, that
okay.
would be great.
Hey,
Yeah.
Booty, I see you're in chat, but I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a round of Jackbox with us?
How do you play? Yes.
How do Lithros?
All right. Well, it's very easy. You just need your phone, and
Okay.
are you looking at the stream right now?
Yes.
Okay. So when I go in here, it's gonna pop up a code JUNT. On your phone, you're gonna go to jackbox.tv and then put that code in with your name, and you'll be able to join the game.
Okay.
I got a cool doll this time.
I'm a sleepy heart, and I resonate with that so much.
With
Yeah,
two
that was me
heads.
last time. It's like a conjoined heart. One more, looks like. If we have one more.
Anybody else? Okay.
Are we in? Oh yeah. Booty's in. Booty, should I
Alright.
call you Booty?
Alright.
Yeah, totally. Or embryosophy. But that's kind of a lot to say.
Embryo.
Bodhiosophy. Should I tap the everybody's in button?
Yeah, you can do that. We're ready.
No, Booty's in. Booty is embryosophy.
The local residents familiar with the abandoned building's history know it simply as
Booty, I obliterated everyone last time in this game, so we're all counting
Not
on
that
you.
he's bragging.
Yeah, Lithros plays unfair by knowing every fact.
I got some wrong, but then I did math really fast and got out of it.
I'm so happy that I'm sleepy heart when playing against the best.
I have like the most big button third eye you've ever seen.
I know, it's beautiful. I like that you are good at killing affirmations. I'm gonna write that down, put it on my mirror or something.
Welcome to Trigger Party. Death's in the air, and there's free coffee in the lobby. Only one of you will survive. And that one survivor better leave this hotel a glowing review online. I will not be screwed over by TripAdvisor again. Okay, first question. What is the Japanese equivalent of...
See, this game is rigged against us.
It's rigged. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Use your device to answer the question. I'm talking to you
At least
too,
Aries
audience.
gonna get this.
I don't know this shit.
So you gotta answer on your phone if you didn't know.
And the correct answer is... Who got the question right?
Boo.
Got it.
Boo.
Animalic, one of us. One of us.
I was pretty
WWW?
Welcome
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Jaja
because
was like-
their word for laugh is what I. So it's like the
Yes.
W from what I
Wah, wah,
is
wah.
laugh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Create a new tattoo on my back
Oh, I
by
got a
drawing on
tattoo.
your
They don't
device.
So I
laugh
should
by
have
going
an-
wah wah wah.
I think Jaja is like South American or something. Lol. But I'm not sure. Are these the actual tattoos?
Right there.
Is that like?
Oh yeah,
Kingdom
they
Hearts?
are. That's pretty cool.
That was really transformative for me. Now, vote for your favorite tat. The artist with the fewest votes will die.
This is MM Front?
What am I looking
This
at?
is my front. I think it says
Oh.
like this is the front.
This is my front.
Yeah,
Sick
my shoulder
backpack.
blades are on my front too.
What did we decide?
Actually, they are kind of far forward in your body. I'm here to.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll have
To
laser this
illuminate.
off. Time
Excellent.
for a little
The shoulder blades are.
back.
Yeah, I mean they're back there, but they're fairly thick. They're kind of deep.
That's
They
weird
come
to
far
think about.
forward. I'll show you how to find it in the front later.
Yeah. Wait, who won?
You're a ghost now.
So just the person with the fewest.
Oh, just somebody lost.
Person win the game.
Wah, wah.
Also, there's an audience in the game. If they survive,
The audience is this
hot tip,
horrible amalgam
join the
creature
audience
with
at any
heads
time.
butting out of it.
That's what the collective consciousness looks like.
Let's try another one.
You may not like it.
What has less than a day to reproduce before they die?
Hmm.
I think I messed up.
Almost out of
Oh, I'm the
time.
fish.
Who picked this?
Boo. How do you know? How do you guys
Oh.
know this
Still in
stuff?
the game, baby.
The rest of you who are still alive, come
It
with
was
me.
in Netflix's Our Planet.
Bonjour. Welcome back to the killing room.
Our planet says,
It's time for
Oh
donations.
dear.
You each get $500.
Oh no, wait, it's
My
us.
money's on
Give
Kersey.
some of that money to your
Out
friend.
to you and me,
The
Kurs.
person with the most cash at the end will die.
All right, we have to coordinate.
There's a catch.
Wait.
If one of you ends up with $800 or more,
Okay,
all
too
of
much
you
is
will
bad,
instead
and less is
this
bad.
is so confusing.
All right,
begin.
Booty, let's both give 250.
All right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, wait, they didn't even say what happens if
Now
you
let's follow the
have
money.
the same amount.
Eh?
You are the richest, and you are the deadest.
Wait, we both die?
Yeah, you both die.
We both die? Boo.
Great teamwork.
You can't cooperate in a murder game.
It seems that that's the
I
case.
feel like it should have clarified that, I think.
Let's keep moving.
Alright, we're
The
both
dairy
dead.
product is produced through the coagulation of milk.
That was a great way to go.
Yeah. It was honorable.
Yeah.
Time's almost up.
Man, I love dairy products.
Who picked
Oh,
this?
What?
What? Did everyone say
Audience.
yogurt?
No, I said sour cream.
Everyone is wrong.
I said butter.
I want to show you something.
I don't understand. I don't know. I did not realize that was that. I almost thought they were all right.
It's the classic game.
Like it's a
Right?
very
Oh,
technical
this
definition
sounded
of
so fun.
Coagulation.
Yeah,
coagulation. Yeah.
They're all from, like,
Pick a
Okay.
challenge.
The solidification
Dump
of
the poison
dairy, but
Oh, you guys.
Oop.
Maybe the game's
in.
wrong.
It's your turn to play.
yeah.
Pick
No,
a
it is the
challenge to
game
drink
that is
from.
wrong.
Drinking from a cup with a poison pellet will kill you. If you trust doctors.
Could I be wrong about the coagulation of milk? No.
Now let's see
It is the
what
game that
everyone
is
drinks.
Yes!
It's refreshing and toxic.
Oh. I'm so happy.
They explode. Yorick. There is a redemption possibility at the end, by the way, Booty.
When one player is left alive, we'll
Yeah.
go to the final round.
Well, we can't win everything.
How many pawns are on a fully set up chessboard?
Come on.
You mean at the end of the game or the end of the game?
I think setup is at the beginning.
No. Booty's on another level, Lithros.
Yeah, she meant she was responding to Kersey.
Time's running out.
Both is my answer.
Who picked this?
Oh, my
Oh.
Balti with the 37 chess pieces.
I
Let's
watched
do a
Queen's
spooky
Gambit.
handwriting test.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really focus on the
Ghost of my
chessboard
Aunt
that much.
Mildred is writing on this mirror. She has her own consistent handwriting. Now, Aunt Mildred is going to write a different word. But so will all the safe players. Draw a word on the mirror, and maybe you'll trick someone into thinking it's Aunt Mildred's. Start writing on that mirror. Watch closely. One of these new words will be a word written by Aunt Mildred's ghost. So many convincing words to choose from. Now, type the word that Aunt Mildred wrote, or you die.
A lot of good words.
Oh.
Would the real Aunt Mildred please stand up?
What a lame word.
Like, never say that. Let me show you what's behind the
Just
looking
because it was
glass.
upside down.
Two.
Oh, you guessed wrong.
Yep.
Alright. Weird that
Let's
Harry
try
is
another
dead but has
one.
the same amount of money.
Which of these late great rulers was born the latest?
This is slightly challenging. I better get this right.
Believe in you, Kersey.
Who picked
Good,
this?
good.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Alright, everyone's
For
dead.
Consequences.
Well, I think it'll pick one of us somehow.
I'm giving you all scratch tickets.
Oh,
What a quirky last-minute gift.
okay.
Scratch and find $3 to live. And if you keep scratching, I'll give you cash for all the extra $signs you find. But if you scratch off even one skull, you die.
Okay. Wait, so
Scratch
if we-
away.
You're
So,
a scratcher
do I
on
have to
scratch?
Damn it.
I don't understand.
Ooh, interesting approach.
He's already dead.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them in this game to be like, you tried to cheat the game. You're gonna die anyway.
It's worth finding out.
Oh, you
Is
just
it?
get
Contest is
3 to
almost
live.
over.
You can put it on the
What?
Jackbox
Yeah.
Did it say
wiki.
that?
Well, Jeff in the
Oh.
chat did.
We know what
I
a
don't
losing
know if
ticket
he's right,
means.
but I trust him.
Well, that was unclear. They might have said that at the start, but I was not
crap,
paying enough
killed
attention.
Everybody? I guess I'll bring one of you back.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
But you
Come
can't
on.
waste money. Anywho,
Alright, now's redemption option.
Oh, man. I got punished for my 6 strats.
How did you
glad to
survive,
see you're the
Aaron?
one to make it here alive.
He
You
resurrected
be the
someone,
one
because someone has to be the
escape.
living one.
Oh,
I'm going to give you a category.
good luck.
Venomous animals.
So you want to vote for what is one of
Fits the
those.
category. Let's see the right
Right.
answers.
Yeah, but you get points for correctly not selecting the ones that don't fit too.
Right, so don't get it wrong. Just answer the
You're on your
question.
way to escaping. Oh wait, did you think it was going to be just you? Aw, that's cute. If a ghost catches you, they'll steal your life force.
I'm gonna
And
steal
they
your
can
life
escape
force,
and
Harry.
Win the game. Here's everyone's next question. And they get a third chance to help them catch up to you.
8 most common.
Time is almost up.
This one's tough.
Yeah.
Here comes the next question. Gluten-free.
Gluten free.
Yes.
Wait, all of them are gluten free?
Sonia,
I
Yeah.
guess so.
What the hell?
born in South Africa.
Oh.
Who the
Who
Frick.
the hell is soda pop?
So,
who the
Soda
frick
Poppin'?
is Soda Poppin'?
He's a big shot on Twitch.
What is
Dave Matthews.
Oh, okay.
I did not know
Uh-oh,
that.
Here comes trouble.
Uh-oh.
It's only
darkness.
darkness.
Oh, we gotta kill
Lithros is in
Lithros.
trouble here.
I'm excited.
Oh.
Poisonous plants. Time is almost up.
Ooh.
Ooh, people did well on that one.
Don't steal your life force.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Darkness
Whoa.
approaches.
Dale son.
The Elson. Uh-oh.
College football balls.
What?
This is not my wheelhouse.
These all sound ridiculous.
Yeah. Which probably means at least one of them, yeah.
Damn it.
Oh man, this is intense.
No.
Time to be friends with the darkness.
So if you end up in a tie, does it randomly
Tomato
pick someone? I guess?
varieties.
Oh.
Planetary tomatoes.
Love those planetary tomatoes.
Not to be confused with a Saturn peach.
There's really an early
You're better
growth
than I
tomato.
thought.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems fake to me, but
Yeah, so if someone catches up to you, they do get to jump ahead.
Golf clubs.
Oh, that's what's going on.
Time is almost up.
So when it's this close, there's going to be a lot of that, because
oh no,
Failson's in the lead again.
Elson's back.
Malty, you gotta get it right.
Chapters.
Oh, this one could be your thing.
I wish. Oh goodness.
Oh, they're all fake.
Oh, thank God.
Another life force swap.
This is
Oh,
the most swaps I've ever seen.
Human hormones.
cerebellum, cerebellum. It's cerebellum.
Oh, this one. Oh, damn it. Soren's gonna. This one's not too hard. Soren's gonna probably jump me here.
Kind of a gimme.
Damn it!
Oh,
Wow, this is intense.
Not so
this
fast.
is intense.
If you want to break through that barrier, you'll need to ace this
Action
next
packed.
If
question.
We
this is a
gotta
hard
ace
one, then anything could happen.
And if you're still alive and want to break through,
wow,
you have to get
okay.
all three answer choices right. You have to get all the right answers to escape.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh!
what happened? Oh wow.
So he said to escape, you have to get
Oh,
all three correct.
we all messed up.
Oh,
We all lost.
funny.
No, I won. I got all three right, and I won the game.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The hell! All right. Well, congratulations. Good job, man.
Look at your smug little face.
No, we don't get to watch it.
We don't get to
Killing
watch
the
it because
stream.
Litro's lost.
Yeah, that's
All
all
right.
you get from me.
All
Nitro's
right,
already
guys.
Working on the PR to maintain this win rate illusion.
I kind of like this warm up for the show. That was pretty good.
That was a
Yeah, that
great
was fun.
time.
It was solid. All right, guys, get out of my chat.
Yeah. See y'all.
All right.
I'll
Bye.
see you back on Twitch. And let me just get set up for our... Oh, I see it messed up the Discord thing. Hello, Booty. Let me
Hello?
fix this little glitch we have here. 400, nope, that would be... It's good enough. Bottom, 300, 500, 510, 520, 510, 515, 16, 17. Let's go with 22. The right side. Perfect.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Thanks for the sub, low quality bot 2. All right. This looks about right. How are you doing, Booty?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Good to get you on. Just screwing with my setup here just a little bit. And we are ready to go. I feel like I need to calm down from that game.
It was really thrilling.
Yeah, yeah, it was thrilling. Cool. I got a little music on my side. Whew. So today I discovered that by raising my arms directly up in the air, I can breathe much better. And
That makes sense.
I've been doing that today, and I feel great. You were saying you can find the wings in the front?
Yeah, actually, do I have my little shoulder blade thing here, or is this like too much like my regular job? Actually, I do, because I'm teaching a shoulder class kind of
sick.
soon. But it's super weird. Hang on, I like the delay still freaks me out. Hang on, I'm going to Discord for a second.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to teaching in real time. So your shoulder blade is kind of on your back, but and this is the shoulder blade, but this little part, the coracoid process, comes well forward. And actually, I mean, you can kind of see from the side. I've seen real ones that are even like thicker. They're really gossamer down at the bottom and like kind of see-through, but up here they get pretty thick. And so they do, like, yeah, it's back there, but you can touch the coracoid process, this little like beak.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like crow-like, like here.
Okay.
So, and it's hard. Well, I find my bones are kind of tender. So if you like feel the place where it's like, you're like, like you don't want to poke too much, it almost feels like a sore, achy muscle. That's probably it.
Oh, it's a little hard to find exactly where it would be, and it's connected to
kind of under like your shoulder cap. Like if you even kind of protract your shoulder forward and go under it, and then relax your shoulder, you're probably on it. And if you kind of noodle around, actually I had to go a little higher, but it like feels particularly tender. And that's where your bicep attaches.
Oh, really? I learned about attachments because I was into bodybuilding for a little bit, and you learn about attachments because where you're I gotta see how I look. I gotta look at myself. Like, my biceps not too amazing right now, but it like attaches here. But they look different if they attach closer to the elbow, and it's part of the look is just affected. I don't know how much of that world you have encountered.
I know a little less about like bodybuilding. What do you mean by where it attaches? You just mean like the variation on like any person?
Yeah. It's just that people are shaped differently, so it's like
totally.
Hold on, let me see if I can. I'm not trying to show my bicep and stuff, but like there's a little gap here. Like
I will.
You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of gap.
Mine attaches a little further down than. Well, it's hard to say. This isn't a good shirt for that, but
right. But basically,
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, if people who are into this, it's like people's pecs look really different. Dudes' pecs, and it affects whether like the dude has some like pectoral muscle cleavage, basically, or if it's more like the pecs are like smushed into each other. You know what I mean? And a lot. Anyway, there's a little. I don't want to call it fetishization, but in the bodybuilding world, it's like some setups are preferred. It's kind of the idea.
Makes sense. No, it makes sense. I mean, there's a ton of variation, like where our muscles attach and which ones kind of interweave or interdigitate. Like it's all really fairly different person to person.
Right. Yeah. No, I was surprised at that too, to learn. Oyster noted. Yeah, the word insertions maybe might have even been the better word, or the word they use in the bodybuilding.
They use it. It's arbitrary. I mean, I don't know. How do I feel about those words? Origin and insertion. The origin's always closer to like it's always more proximal, meaning like closer to your trunk, I think. But it's just named, like that's just named from dissection of corpses. So it's actually not, all it tells you is like which end is kind of closer in. I guess that's useful. Right. But I'm a person who hasn't, you don't have to memorize them individually, if you sort of know their name by like location. Right.
There's a book. Guess we jumped right into the body stuff. We can do a kind of like general intro, kind of thing in a second, but there's a book that I was recommended called Field Guide to the Body, maybe, or
yeah, no, it's not called that. Is it called the or maybe if we're talking about the same book, the Trail Guide to the
Trail
Body.
Guide. Yep. Okay, you know
Yeah.
this book. Yeah. I had a massage guy who recommended me this book, and it's kind of like I never got enough of a chance to really look at it, but the way he portrayed it to me is that it has in it like how to find each of the anatomical things on yourself, basically.
Totally.
It's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. And I think that I feel like the how do I want to say, obviously it makes sense that like touching a place and naming it would do something for like consciously knowing about our bodies, but I think our tissues themselves respond to the touch and the
Right.
attention, if not the naming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in that world you meet people who are all about the technical terminology and meet people who aren't.
Yeah. I'm somewhere in between.
Somewhere between.
No, I
Well-
love all the names and the etymologies, but I also don't like is a part of me that can know that part of my body, and does my body know or care?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I guess I think of it like the rational part can ideally work together with the other parts, and kind of your body might not care that you have it named, but maybe the part that names things likes that, you know.
That's what I'm saying. The part of
Yeah.
me that names things does really
Right.
like to know the names.
Right.
I think as long as we like don't grip them too tight.
Right. So, by the way, before we get too far into this, did you have any thought about where in the world you would like to fly today?
Yeah, I kind of want to go to Tikal in Guatemala.
All right. Let's
I had a
see.
phase a long time, like a long time ago. I mean, maybe not that long ago. Maybe it was like between 10 and 15 years ago that with an ex, I went all over like sort of like Mexico and like
Yeah.
Belize and Guatemala looking at sacred sites. And so I kind of, and then I somehow Tikal came up recently. I want to go there.
All
And maybe
right.
Teotihuacan, we can see what we have time for.
So usually at this point, Lithros hops in with the name of an airport because I have to find it in this app. All good, bro. I should have given you a little warning. Oh, and we'll also have a choice, by the way, about flying north, south.
Where do I want to, from where do I want to depart?
All right, so MGMM, Mundo Maya International. Looks like a good departure point. We can just go any direction. I don't know. I feel like flying south would be cool.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, wait, we're starting in Tikal.
Yes.
I want to like fly over it
Well, we can start there, get up in the air,
and look around.
look around. All right, let's just grab one south of here. Let's sort of just fly as far as we can. And it sometimes I'm not so amazing at the navigation, so we might have to Google some things to find where we want to go. And what type of plane would you like to fly in today, Booty? Our options include little dinky but cool looking ones, jets, which are like, more like private jet vibe, big, gigantic planes, weird, like really weird little tiny planes that barely go at any speed at all. They're like toy planes, like this Icon A5. It'll show up in a second. And there's also fighter jets, which are very maneuverable and easy to fly.
Is easy to fly better?
Yes. But aesthetics matter too.
Totally. Let's start with the red fighter jet.
Red fighter jet. All right. Beautiful. A wonderful choice, if I may say so myself. All right, let's do it. Fly the extra. don't know which one the extra is, 𝔬𝕚𝕚. So what's on your mind today, Booty?
Gosh, I don't know. That's such an open-ended question. All
Yeah.
the stuff.
I guess, what's a thought you had today? Is that concrete?
Not at all. Or I mean, or maybe. But probably something that I tweeted.
Uh-huh. Do all thoughts go straight from the mind to Twitter?
A lot of them hang out in notes for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Or they get said aloud. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I need more.
You need more. That's okay. What was I thinking about? How would I even answer that question? Guess I was thinking about this stream, thinking about setting that up. I guess there was the news, the political stuff that came up.
Yeah.
What else came up? I was a little irritable today. So I'm going to start getting us up in the air.
You were irritable today?
I was a little irritable today, and I was a little bit irritable about Twitter. I wasn't. I was kind of like, am I using Twitter the right way? Am I just spending a lot of time dicking around? Like, is this productive? I go through I'm always oscillating. It's like a relationship, It's like I'm always oscillating. Like, this is the best thing ever. To I got to change how I spend my time. This kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's not even like a person. It's like this feed, right? And you've got this weird relationship with this feed and these people. All right, hold on. Let's get us up in the air. I'm not good at this game, by the way, but
How? Oh yeah, I forget. People are going to ask questions too. There's so much going on.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
For the way my attention works. Johnny asks, how did I get into Zen? I would say I am not the super Zen person. So in my couple, Hap is the Zen person. So he's the person to ask about Zen. I mean, I know a little bit by extension, but I'm not that hardcore. I'm like the mover, and I sit, so I know about Zen in that way.
Right.
But
by the way, Lithros said if we go northeast, we'll go towards Tikal. Am I looking for a city?
Gosh, can I even remember? Probably. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look around. If we hit it, we hit it. There's some chance we'll pass it by, but I'll go vaguely northeast.
Yeah. No, let's see what pokes up through the jungle.
Yeah. Oyster said follow the ley lines. I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, you have to be able to see them.
What are ley lines?
Does Oyster want to tell us? I know they're sort of sacred, energetic, like Marma points of the earth or something.
Is it like magnetism? Is it magnets?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about Bicycle Day. Thanks, Lithros.
My occult cred be dropping. Listen, this show is purely a machinery for calibrating everyone's knowledge about what I do and don't know, because I do know some shit and I don't know a lot of shit. So yeah, I do not know about ley lines.
Well, I'm here to model some of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Oyster. Lines of geomantic power that's pithy, that's it.
I got into geomancy myself. All right, cool. So by the way, while we're flying, I can screw with the time of day, if that's intriguing. I have the powers of a god here, so we can move the sun around, throw a few clouds in there. I don't know how cloudy it is in Guatemala, but the live weather is it claims the live weather is like this.
Let's try that for a little while, unless it gets too hazy. I mean, you're flying,
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be
but
fine.
I like those little clouds. Well, let's see. I actually it might make it hard if it's this cloudy. It might be hard to find what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's true. I'll make it a little bit less clouds. Few clouds. Cool. This is cool. You can go above them or below them. Did I cut you off in the middle of saying something?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Dog snake. Oh, that's what you mean by that. You're talking about my dragon, 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕦. That's Webster.
Oh, that picture?
Yeah.
I love that picture.
Webster actually came from Webster Hall back when that was a thing in New York, and I got it from some neighbors. So that's who that is.
Uh-huh.
𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚.
What's Webster Hall? What was Webster Hall?
It was like a venue, which it closed. I can't remember how many years ago it did, but which is I think how my neighbors got the dragon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Were you
So that's the dog snake.
dog snake? It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Dog snake. That's some primordial interpretation. That's what is this dog snake?
I mean, sometimes dragons do look like dog snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still lives with us.
Oh my God, we got a sub gift for Soren. Thank you, Eris. Appreciate it. There's a follow I missed as well. Thanks for follow ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚. Yeah, Booty. So this Twitch is crazy. Just as a attentional thing, Twitch is crazy. It's like the amount of things going on at once is too high for any sane person. So, like, I've learned to exist in this weird intermediary space because I've got your video, I've got the game, I've got chat, and then it's like got to thank people, you know, to kind of because I appreciate it, don't want to miss anybody.
No,
Jeff.
it's a lot. It's totally a lot.
Yeah. When you titrate it just right, it is a vibe, but it's like there's a little bit like balancing plates.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like, I'm totally ignoring some of this stuff. I don't have to look at my video because the timing is off, and that's really going to fuck me up. Like,
Right.
So I'm kind of, now that I'm here, I'm like learning how to, yeah, because I can get distracted by all the stuff.
Right. The
Oh yeah, happy 420, everybody.
Yeah, happy 420, everybody. Today's a reasonable day for Full Jeff. Okay, embodiment. Bodiment.
Yeah.
So we had this brief interaction about embodiment versus bodiment.
Yeah.
Do you want to... Maybe you could start there. Just sort of... What were we talking about? I feel like it might sort of open up an avenue.
Yeah, I can't remember all of the context, but like, I mean, embodiment is such a like buzzword to the point of being kind of meaningless, and I just find it gets thrown around all the time, and I guess it literally means like in a body, right? Which I'll say more about that in a second, but I just find that it doesn't, like, thinking that I'm like I don't like the dualism of thinking like I'm something that's like in my body. Honestly, I fucking hate that. I'm just gonna be honest. So it's sort of like that's definitely a soapbox I'm kind of always on, especially because I'm like a yoga anatomy and yoga philosophy teacher, and so yeah, I just don't like that. I mean, I like bodiment, and I've started to say that to talk about something that's like more enmeshed. Like, I feel like I'm not against vessel, but like if it's a vessel, it's like braided in this fractal way where it's like I'm like nested within myself, where it's not just like I'm a big pot with a spirit or a soul or a mind or whatever in it, depending on which, it depends on the like your tradition, right? It could be, yeah, it depends on your tradition, like which kind of defining dualism we mean, but I don't like any of them. So yeah, embodiment.
It's like
Well, I've been saying
the
that.
ghost in the shell is this sort of
Right.
metaphor.
Yeah, which just doesn't work for me. If it works for other people, great. But like I am certainly not only my body, but I wouldn't be me without it because of how it informs my experience. And
Yeah.
then what is my body, right? That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
Is it just like me right here? No, it's like I have an extended body too.
Yeah, you get into this really wacky identity questions where one way I sometimes think about this is, and again, it's like hard to get into this with a metaphor that's not just totally wrong, but like if we're gonna kind of like Theseus's ship, we're gonna step on one bad metaphor to talk about something and then step off it, hopefully. But it's like I sometimes think of it like your body's something your like soul like learns to use or something like that. At least people can gain more control over their body. What does that even mean? Or maybe you would say that parts of them gain control over their body, or they like defragment all of their different controls over their body, or something like that. And then it gets weird, I think, when I start thinking about people who play like musical instruments really well, and that is very embodied, or where it's sort of like touching the piano keys. They know it's like the awareness of that region of the universe is like high, almost like such a person might have more awareness of a piano than their own, belly or something, right?
Yeah, right. Or themselves as a like body piano melody system or something. Like
Yeah.
I know just another pattern says the mind emerged from the body. Or did the body emerge from the mind? I don't know. I think they're co-emergent. In this world, they're co-emergent. Embodied, yes. But wait, what were you saying, Curtis? Say the last thing again.
Just the idea that I don't know. It's just trippy as fuck. It's like we don't have
It's trippy.
Yeah, it's trippy stuff.
Trippy as fuck. Oh yeah, you were saying something. I think it's a great like I don't know, image. I don't want to say image or representation, but it's a great example of like embeddedness to talk about like a musician who's just in a flow state, like in the system with what they're playing and what they're playing on, or they're kind of being played. Like, yeah.
Right.
So to me, embodiment is something more like that, where in like the moment it's non-separate, which is why I don't like the vessel thing.
Right. Okay, so
well, that's see, Soren, people aren't always in their bodies, but then how do you define body? Like this body, maybe I can travel, but my extended body, I'm still in it, I would argue.
Yeah, some of the people that I've met that talk about chakras, they always end up saying really trippy stuff when they start talking about the higher chakras and what those are and what they're about and what they mean. And, a version I've heard, they'll say, oh, the second chakra in your belly relates more to physiological desires or something like that. But then you're like, okay, I could buy that. A lot of things happening in your belly that relate to digestion and food, and I don't know. And then when they talk about like the seventh chakra, it's like infinities or something, or it's like spiritual, transcendent, whatever. And then it gets confusing. I don't know. Is that a framework you use? Are you into the chakra thing?
Sorry, I was just answering no to. I didn't see Dirk Gently. How do I feel about the chakras? I taught them for years and years. Like I had this class. So I lived in New York for a long time, and I had this class, and it was like maybe 5 or 6 years running, and like it was a sort of restorative class. It was really popular, and I like cycled through the chakras, and sometimes I do them all, or I do combinations. and I loved it. And people eat that shit up.
Yeah.
People love the chakras. I mean, first of all, I think that where to start? I'm going to start like young buddhi, like when I was like 17, 18, getting into yoga, I was really into the esoteric stuff, and the chakras were part of what drew me in. It's a really beautiful system. And so I totally see the attraction. And then it was very much like the imagery. It was very like outside in. And then again, I taught them for a long time, and but I don't feel like I personally use them much anymore. I even tried to teach a workshop, like, I guess, how long ago was it? Like before lockdown. So it might've been a year and a half ago now, which is crazy that much time has passed. But I tried to teach this chakra workshop it was with like CBD or THC tincture. So that was a fun workshop to teach. But I realized, like, in teaching it, I was so uninspired. I was like, I don't really care about the chakras anymore. They're just not like my thing anymore. And so partly we don't even know how they were actually used, but they're probably used more for like internalization of like kind of placing different elements or sounds in different parts of your body and different combinations for different sort of symbolic reasons. And probably they were given to you by your guru, a sort of initiation or sort of tantric practice, but like internalized tantric practice. There's some that are more folk and externalized, and some that were more like sort of high symbolic tantra. And so we don't really even know how they were used. And the stuff we do now is really like theosophical and really like Jungian, actually. It kind of like, I think the Theosophists kind of like brought it over, and then like Jung got involved, and then it got like re-imported in India. And so, which is fine. I mean, things change and share and blend, and that's beautiful. And again, I loved it for so long, but somehow I'm over the chakras now.
Right.
Sorry, everybody.
No. So part of what has interested me in the stuff you talk about on Twitter, where we encountered each other, has been I'm now very into body stuff. Though I guess I compared to you, I'm not very into body stuff. I do it though, and compared to most people, I think probably very, very into body stuff, and you'd get a couple more varies, I think. And then, but I didn't start there. I started with like philosophy, like heady philosophy, bachelor's degree philosophy, and I've been intrigued by how you do have a verbal thing that you're doing, right? And we're already talking about Jung, right? So I guess it's interesting that like your explorations in that realm have led to you also developing like a map of philosophical and like religious, etc. Views on this stuff.
Wait, now why can't I hear you?
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh no. Yeah. That was the whole thought.
What's the last thing you said?
Just that it was interesting to, and also if we have delay or something, let me know. We can also screw with a few things to make it, if there's an internet issue, to make it smoother. But just that was just the full thought. I think that you are kind of, in my readout of the world, doing both, and a lot of people are doing one or the other, and that has just been interesting.
Totally. I mean, I think philosophy arises from experience, which is bodied. So they're not separate for me, but I always wished I'd done like the kind of canon of philosophy in college, and I kind of didn't. I chose a school where I didn't have to have a major and could kind of just like dabble and explore and not decide. And actually that's been great. But sometimes I wish I'd studied more philosophy. I feel like I don't have a comprehensive background. And I feel like there are things I wish I knew about or had read that I'm like, well, I'm not going to read that now. Can I find like a kind of shady example? I don't know. Like a lot of the philosophical canon, I feel like the sort of like fundament I should have or something, or I feel like I should have. anyway, so yeah, I feel like it was a peripheral interest, and then somehow, but still kind of like a thing I meant to study, and then somehow I got like the body stuff sort of took off and took over because I was like unhappy in a lot of the jobs I did, and realized like I wanted to devote more of my time to yoga, and then but somehow it like all came back around.
Uh-huh.
Where yeah, that's like it maybe now, or maybe at some point, like could talk about what I mean by embryosophy, which like hat tip to Hap Savage, my partner who came up with that name, but because it for me it's a really pithy way to talk about how my philosophy like emerges from how we emerge as bodied beings.
Say more.
Yeah. So I'm working on a couple of somatic certifications right now. So somatics is like a big thing that I'm doing, and which I always kind of struggle to define, but I say somatics is something like feeling your body, or focusing on the sort of inside experiences of moving or not moving versus the outside form.
This is fascinating. Yeah. I have a video
yeah.
I'm going to try to make, but keep going with what you were saying. I don't want to jump in.
Yeah, but tell me about I meant to actually watch more of your videos, so tell me about that in a second. I wanted to watch more of yours, like with body stuff before this, but I didn't get around to it. So yeah, so like what was I saying? Yeah, so I study, that's where I was. Like in the kind of somatics I'm studying, I study a lot of embryology, and the teacher who's like my mentor is and the style of mind centering is what it's called, is heavy into embryology. And so I want to start with saying like whatever we're doing is storytelling, but that's sort of the frame that the somatics come from that I'm like learning about. And so I found, like, kind of as we were just talking about philosophy, for me becoming interested in like systems theory, and which I can look back and say, oh, okay, I've always been interested in something like that, but a lot of my sort of the interests I've had for a lot of my life have sort of like peeked at me again through the lens of embryology. And so I let's see, I'm like losing my train of thought a little. And I haven't celebrated 420.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Maybe I will later.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about what your video, and then I'm gonna sometimes a pause is good for me, and my body mind
Totally.
works it out, and then I'll drop back into telling more about like the principles of embryology that generate the world systems I want to see.
Yeah. And also, by the way, I consider it an intrepid thing to try to talk about this stuff, because I definitely know from my own life it's really fucking hard to do it, and it's like the more you care about it. Yeah, it's like the more you care about it, the more you hate how you sound. Is at least my experience of it. It's like I just I hate not getting it right. But the thought I had was just that the video idea. So I have 2 body videos. The first one I'm drawing the sensations in my hand on a little template of my hand. So I'm like, here's some warmth. Okay, I like shade in this part of the hand. I'm just trying to describe sensations, right? Just to give that simple idea of like, you can note sensations and note them quite precisely and things like that. And
I saw one of those that you did on phenomenology.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
And another one that I want to do is, I was thinking of calling it like something that's good for clicks. That's like called like the homunculus or something like that, right? So the homunculus idea, right? It's like that I learned in high school psychology. It's that your brain has regions that correspond to different sensory surfaces on your body. So if you made that into a little person, it would look really weird because like your genitals would be humongous and your lips would be humongous and your hands would be humongous and you wouldn't have as much going on in like, I don't know, like the back of your shoulder or something like that because that's not like a high sensory surface. And what you were saying about the kind of from the inside is how I think of it, where if you look at the body map from the inside, it doesn't necessarily look like the Vitruvian man, you know?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily look all that humanoid. And that would just be the whole, that's the sort of whole concept I was thinking about.
Yeah, and like I know that image you're talking about, and I don't know how much of that is kind of I don't know how mutable it is, but certainly our body maps. I'm gonna say, like, here's a little digression. Sometimes by a body map, I might mean something like the chakras, like, or Western anatomy is another body map. Like I'll say like it's a map, not a territory, and it's like incomplete. And that's what's good about it. Anyway, the body map I'm talking about is sort of the nervous system mapping we do of our bodies, and it's at least, you know, somewhat changeable, right? As we like practice paying attention to different parts of ourselves.
Right.
I don't know how changeable.
Yeah, I think it's changeable. I think it is.
Yeah.
That's my view. I can get a little...
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Lithros got the homunculus. That looks so horrible, but it's cool. Let me get this up. I'm gonna leave this up when I go to sleep tonight, and I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna freak me out. Here's our homunculus.
You're really awake really fast.
Oh. I've seen better ones than this that aren't just so offensively like.
But they're all kind of freaky looking.
They're all weird. Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, this is one I've definitely seen where they're trying to show how it corresponds to the brain, and yeah, this madness. So
yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that map. Yeah, that one I've seen.
You're right. All these brain wrinkles, but I gotta stop looking at it. Yeah, so, and even that, I guess in that particular case, that's not even a map of, they're trying to draw like brain areas and like and someone who actually knows about neuroscience would be able to describe it. What exactly that is mapping, but that's like a brain areas to sensory surface, something like signal depth, or I don't know. It's a different thing to be looking at it introspectively.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we found some beautiful water here.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And we can actually check out Tikal if desired, because Lithros got us the... How about I'll get us to Tikal, and if you wanted to step away or something for a second, or whatever you want to do, totally chill.
I will at some point,
cool.
But yeah, let's go to Tikal.
All right, let's get this in here. Tikal 17 point. Man, there's so many. So Lithros, that number you put in is 17 degrees 13 apostrophe 11.72. Do I just type in 1713, or do I have to do like maybe it's 17.13? Whatever. We'll try it. Negative 89. 3, 7, 1, 5. Let's try it. It'll take a second to render.
I wish I could swim in the ocean right there.
Absolutely. Alright, slowly rendering in. What do we have here? This might be a place. We seem to be right above jungle, but over here looks like some civilization. We can check that out.
Yeah, if you need to make the clouds go away, you can.
Yeah, we can ditch the clouds. Had to fly over the ancient city of Tikal to get a view of this dub. We could do even like what did you say? Did you say no Teotihuacan?
I did.
Is that in Guatemala?
That's in Mexico.
Oh, right.
Outside of Mexico City. Tikal, well, cooler, which is cooler. I mean, I'm imagining both will be like easy enough to view once we know what we're looking at.
Once we know where it is.
Yeah.
It's not trivial to know.
Yeah, but so what I was saying about like embryology, like so in the somatics I study, we do a lot of like recapitulation of sort of movement patterns we would have done when we were embryos, which I really love. So it's also, there's like the principles that are important about it, that are important to me as philosophical principles, are all very much like, you know, could be named in systems theory. And so I also welcome like the peanut gallery to chime in if what I start to say isn't systematic enough, or something. I mean, I might leave things out, but some of the principles that are really important to me are that we don't have a nervous system at that time. So there's no outside director. The cells themselves are doing what they're doing, not because they're being told, and not because there's a blueprint, though I can say something about that in a second. As one could argue that like DNA is a blueprint, right? But we have to redefine what blueprint is. But so the cells, because of their relationship, because of timing, because of like distance, because of chemicals they're secreting, all like know what to do in like little localized way, like a swarm. Like no one has to know what the whole swarm is doing for the swarm to auto-organize. And so we're like, am I saying the word right? I always want to say auto-poetic, but we're like building ourselves or creating ourselves. And that's another thing I want to say that I've made like mothers mad, though. As a like future mother, I'm not trying to tell you all anything right now, but as a person who intends to do that, like our kids grow themselves, we don't grow them. And so what I really love about embryology is that then I didn't have to like have a nervous system, or even I'll say a hierarchical God form that like no one was directing. Like the blueprint or the DNA is just like the set of guidelines. So it sets some parameters and then everything does its thing. And so sure, there are cases where things go wrong, but it's like if I'm here now, a lot of shit went right. And I did it. Like I grew myself and I did it right, and my cells knew what to do, and here I am. And so that's like incredibly important to me. And like I would want to say, I say that to my students. I'm saying it to all of you. Yeah, that a lot has happened. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you're interested in that bottom-up intelligence.
Yeah, I am. And that the like coordination, like maybe if we end up talking about, like I said something about a political compass, like a sexcunx political compass. Maybe I'll talk about that, but like that the what I'm interested in politics too is like the emergence of civic structures from the bottom up because of need, and they're grown because of need, so they serve the people.
We've got a couple of follows. Thank you, B-Wing and Low Quality Bot. So are you a bottom left on the normal
No,
compass.
it's it's so flat though.
Yeah.
Like I want another axis, and I think like I saw one going around today, like a really funny one where each square is like I don't know, like Che Guevara stan, or like I don't know, like Gnosis, or like anyway, it was going around. But anyway, so like each little square of it had very kind of like, I found that one like really helpful for orienting myself, because I am probably mostly bottom left. But I have a little bit of me everywhere. I
Right.
think probably maybe a lot of us do. I don't know. And then I want to say like from that, like from the sort of, I mean, there's something generative, like anarchy is often used as a bad word. And so like I'm setting aside like anarchism and like what a drag it's been to be involved in some of those movements here and there in my past and things like that. We're going to set that aside. I'm going to say something about like, I'm into the bottom up, and then there's something about anarchy, or like possibility, or like the way life happens at the edge of chaos. That's what like homeostasis is like, being fundamentally almost out of balance but not quite, is the generative stuff of life. To me, that's kind of what I would say anarchy is. So I think anarchy is a really like freighted term.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're seeing this on the horizon. We have a glitch, which is making a very pointy. It'll show up in a second. A very pointy mountain that almost certainly does not exist in Guatemala.
Oh, rad!
But it is cool.
Can we get closer? Can we like check it out though? I mean, I still want to go to Tikal, but
yeah, it may disappear as we get closer, and it may not. But occasionally I get updates for this game where they talk about fixing these.
So dancing horse, like why is it significant that embryos have a period of development without a nervous system? Because there's no top-down director. And so, but thank you for asking. What's also important to me is that in our adult bodies, our nervous systems are really like about sort of record keeping and communication. They're also not about directing in our adult bodies, actually. So maybe let me bookmark it to like diss on slime mold Twitter and around that. Wow, it's even getting spikier.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
So it's priapic as fuck. So it's important to that there's no like guide that what is happening is emerging from the relationships of the agents in the system. And we're not so different even with adult nervous systems. And so like a lot of like choice making and self-making happens without an outside director. And I believe is recorded that like how we move through space now, but how we move through space in the womb and how our cells move through space as we build ourselves is recorded in our tissues as kind of a like spatial embedded memory. And so that's what I was saying, is that our nervous systems now, I think, have gotten conflated to some degree with like ego function, or are somehow the like the illusion that the ego is in control is like comparable to or mapped onto our nervous systems, where our nervous systems are really like the messenger, and they're great at that. So that's why I would say too, I'm not like a pure anarchist. Like we need a nervous system. We grew it because we need it.
Right.
But it's not directing things. It's recording. It's like a piece of the whole, but it's not in charge.
That's very interesting. I once I'm trying to get enough altitude to get to the peak of this thing. It's seem to be failing here.
Yeah,
So
no, can we even get to the top? How high does it go?
I think I can. I just have not been.
It's like it's like the stripper pole on Lil Nas X's like latest.
Oh,
I
boy.
wonder if it stretches all the way down to hell.
Yeah. I'm gonna get altitude and then turn around. That's what I'm gonna do. Flying straight will help. Okay, wait, but then so while I'm gonna hopefully set up my plane to get a little altitude, and it sort of just wants
Cool.
to fall.
Yeah, Oyster, I do think developmental biology is weirdly under-discussed in philosophy. Or then it's weirdly fucked up, like I was complaining kind of recently about Stan Groff on the timeline, where I like some of his work, and he's super deterministic about the trauma of the birth story in this way that's like, all right, that maybe like is the story you're writing about your experience, but it doesn't have to be mine. Anyway.
I wanted to get a picture of a sexcunx.
I made it up. So
Oh, is this not a real
you
thing?
should look up no, I mean, yes, but
Real
look up
thing.
quincunx.
Quincunx.
Because that's what I was riffing on.
I'm gonna. All right, here we go.
Like
Hopefully-
Quincunx.
All right, we got something here. Maybe this thing.
Those are some of them, yeah. Or like the one on a on a die. Is die? Wait, die or dice? I always get the plural mixed up. But anyway, like the one like on a dice, I think you can say it both ways.
When I
where
search,
it's like a cross, but made of like 5 elements.
huh.
So I like it because like a sort of like an equilateral or equal linear cross has always been an important symbol to me since I can remember, and I can't really, I mean, I could say why, but I can't remember why that started. And actually that was one of the uncanny things in like getting to know my ago, that's like this potent symbol for him too. And then there's this idea like, so to me, the glue, or like I'm really interested in like how is it all hanging together? Meaning like everything. And like, I hear folks say like, maybe like, is consciousness the glue, or like the singular is die. Yeah, thank you. I get things reversed sometimes, which is helpful and not helpful. But like, what's the glue that it all hangs together by? Is it consciousness? Is it like attention? Like spirit? I don't know. People could say a lot of things, and it's relationship. Like it is the very fact of like being non-separate from one another. That's what I would say. And so I like the quincunx because it's like this cross, this potent symbol for me, but also there's like an occulted fifth, there's something ordinary about a cross, but there's like this sort of fifth piece tying it all together. And so actually it's funny, when I like was tweeting about a sexcunx, I think what I was imagining was like a 3-dimensional like space, like X, Y, and Z, but actually then if I did the math, would it have to be an octcunx? Like, anyway, I think I got it wrong. But maybe.
Well, let's see. Hold on. So I wish I had a whiteboard. If you had your, hold on, let me get your quincunx back up.
I have a pen. I'm going to try to draw it too. I'm really visual, so that really helps.
You could at least
and kinesthetic.
You could at least have a symmetrical one where you had these 4, right? Just on this plane, and then one above and one below the center.
Oh yeah, that's what I was imagining.
And that would be 4, 5, 6, but there's still a center.
But there's still a center, and so technically it would be it would be a sexcunx.
Yeah.
Kind of, it has to be an odd number.
Right, if the center is counted.
rolled with it. And anyway, the center, I would say, is the center is like everywhere because it's the relationship. It's the like immaterial material stuff, like holding everything together.
I do like this already. I don't know what it is about these shapes. I do like this.
Yeah.
The quincunx and the... What is
I like
cunx?
them too. Oh, I looked it up. Here, somebody look it up.
I keep being worried I'm going to pull up some not safe for work.
Yeah. Well, okay, right. That also might be like a somewhat dodgy word to look up.
Definitionmeaning.com. I don't know. This looks like garbage. Hold on. Here we go. Etymology. Quincunx. Etymology. Quinque. I don't know. Eris says comes from Latin from 5/12. Oyster says word quincunx come from Latin quinque meaning 5, and uncia meaning 1/12, since the coin was valued at 5/12 of a bronze. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I thought the whatever system, English system, was weird.
Yeah.
Also called a Libra. Uncia meaning 1/12. Huh. Wait, but then I wanted to know then. So then with the sex or sexcunx, what's the other dimension? What's that about?
You mean like why is it 3D not 2D?
Well, in the political, the political.
More options.
Just more options. But, I mean, do you have some in mind, or is it sort of just an invitation to be open-minded about options?
That's a good question. It's more like an invitation.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I have some in mind for me, but
Right.
Yeah. No, I want to invite you all into that.
Cool. Well, I like that shape, and I want to own one physically. Maybe that's my. I better not.
Like a coin.
Yeah, like a little object. I just want to have a little brass, like, one. You know.
I want that for you too.
Yeah. Sounds fun. Okay, yeah. So, what did I even tweet that we were gonna cover? Because there were a couple of these phrases, and it would be cool to sort of map some of the connections.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, I had
Yeah.
I wrote it. I wrote it somewhere here.
Embodiment, embryology. Ways that space relates to cognition. You have the great traumatic paroxysm, psychic warfare, and then the sexcunx. And then you also DM'd me a couple.
Yeah, I think I did more. And then, of course, that was only a few days ago, but of course, it's like all changed. I mean, like I kind of talked about like how, like for me, I experience spaces or like, what do I experience as spatial? I mean, like everything, but like studying embryology has helped me understand like just how my like cognition is spatial and movement. I want to say movement dependent. I mean, nothing in life is still. It's only ever relatively still. And that's a little bit of like it's sort of like always like teetering on the edge, such that there are like generative forces present. But there's something for me like I'm about like thinking and moving. And I don't remember where I read it, but I read that, our forebears, like hunter-gatherer, us were, I mean, of course it makes sense. We're like cognating in ways that precede the way we cognate by moving through space, especially if they were like nomadic or semi-nomadic. But it's brought, I mean, so I've been thinking about that in the past few days, and how I know for me, my, like I'm sitting relatively still here talking to you, and part of me can still travel. And so, I mean, like, that's part of what I mean by it being spatial too. I can move my body through space, or I can like move space through my body. But I know personally, I tend to do better. Like now I'm comfortable, I'm talking, but I know like even as a teacher, I've been teaching for over a decade, and I still get nervous, and I'm sometimes kind of awkward and nervous until I start moving. And once I'm moving, then it's like not like it opens me as a channel. I think that different people open in different ways as channels for that kind of thing. But I feel like I do my best, like thinking and teaching and thinking when I'm moving. It could be in the classroom setting. I've realized this before. I'm realizing it now, or I'm recognizing it now, that like actually it's probably about us moving together in a shared space. I think like that, like I'm sort of in the role of the teacher, right? But I can't teach without my students. So like that's non-separate too. Like I know I hate saying it this way, but like the quality of people to whom I'm talking, like or where they're coming from, or how much how coherent we even are in our like shared knowledge or what we're doing together, makes me a better or worse teacher.
Totally.
Like it feels like right now talking to you is going pretty well, and I think that's because I feel coherent with many of you, like from the space that we share, and I kind of know what some of your ideas are about. But when I've sat in front of like, you know, classrooms of people who just are not on board, or I don't know, they just don't want to learn the material for some reason, it's really hard, and I'm a worse teacher. And I mean, maybe that's obvious, but there's something like there's this co-creation in a classroom, and that's just like that's happening all the time. A teaching scenario has just taught me about it.
Right. Well, it's like you gotta, yeah, it's interesting. You gotta get a resonance of some type. You gotta get a signal back.
Right. Resonance is a great word for it.
Yeah. I sometimes do, like, I work with people on introspection type things sometimes, and it's, I would describe it similarly. It's like I spend probably 20 minutes of a 60-minute session scoping out, like, where are we, you know, like, and then there's like 5 different ways it could go, you know, there's infinite ways it could go, but like categorized into maybe 5 big ways, and then it's like just sensing people are just so crazily different, and willing to go there or not, I guess, wherever there is.
Right. Yeah, right. And so I really felt that like a thing that I've learned to identify, like in studying somatics, and maybe as being a person who's like, I can look back and say like I'm a person who's always enjoyed exploring consciousness, though I maybe didn't realize that for a long time, or didn't have those terms for it. But there's really like a change to the tone of the room. And the tone of the room is a way we tend to talk about it in somatics, but like a vibe, or like a palpable feeling that then, you know, shifts as the room shifts. That's sort of a shared, I mean,
right.
In like, is that a kind of egregore maybe? Right.
I wasn't gonna use that word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of curious about that, like, because I find that people who are I had 2 questions. One of them is like, what do you think about like the discourse or whatever around the word vibe on Twitter? How do you feel about how people use the word vibe, and like what that's about? I don't know. I guess that's a question.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like to vibe. Like I feel like you know, like I've talked about in college, I used to be like, or maybe like once, like after college, like I was like, oh fuck, like I miss the perpetual chilling of college. I feel like perpetually chilling is this word that like friends and I talked about way back when, in like this place where you can kind of.
Oh no, you froze. Oh. Hold on.
Can you hear me now? Oh, I think I'm back.
Yeah, now you're back. Now you're back.
Okay. So yeah, vibe, perpetually chilling. I like the word vibe. I mean, I think vibe can mean a lot of different things, but I like it.
Yeah.
I love to vibrate too. I mean, I guess, I don't know, it depends on how fast, but
Right.
depends on the situation.
Yeah, it's
I guess
interesting.
maybe we all are.
I sometimes find myself in what I feel like is like a weird in-between social space where how would I put this? I like to vibe, but not too much, or something like that. It's like I sometimes
Everything in moderation.
I occasionally I feel like a rock, you know, and I can go there or not. Sometimes I'm very
Wait, you feel like a what?
a rock. Sometimes.
A rock.
Sometimes.
Maybe rocks vibrate slower.
Yeah, you could say that.
A rock, but with a rock with a mustache.
Right. Yeah. Well, obviously. The yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. What am I trying to describe? It's like I have this. I don't know. Just because we're talking about it, and I have this idea that, like, for context, a lot of my people I've been around from in like the last, like, I don't know, 8 years or something, have been a mixed, definitely mixed in terms of ultra heady, ultra like rationalistically minded, etc., versus, and then a bit less of this, but like versus very in the body, very about chilling, very like where priority one is how does this feel and what are we doing with each other, rather than priority one being the ideas. Chaos, what the hell is a perovskite? Is that a type of brick? Sorry, type of rock. But I find
Sounds
myself,
like it.
yeah, it does sound with the height. I find myself caught in between because it's like, I don't know. It's like I want to do the opposite with either group.
Yeah, no, I mean, oh, I feel that.
Perovskites are a type of rock that people say thinks, some kind of information processing features. Cool.
Well, how would that be different than any other rocks?
I mean, this is
Actually, I feel like I saw them on the timeline or somehow seen that somewhere recently.
perovskite.
I'm in the camp that says like all the rocks and all the stuff has what you could call information processing features.
Okay, what about elements? Do you go in for like element type typologies, including like for people?
You mean like 4 or 5 elements?
Or more?
Yeah, so to go back to the chakras, even though I was like, I don't use them, like light is considered an element, I believe. No, I'm kind of into it. I have also taught from the frame of like the 5 elements, or the 5 like tattvas. We call them in Sanskrit. And so, and actually in the like lineage, so I've sort of dabbled around in yoga lineages, but the one that I sort of have studied the most in, or like started studying in a long time ago, does a lot of elemental chanting. We do a lot of Vedic chanting too, but we do these like invocational chants for each of the elements, which I really love. Yeah. So no, I like that frame more, and I've tried, like, I feel like there's more room, there's less like kind of imagery on top than the chakras have to to employ, like, to kind of sneak in the embryological movement that I want to teach, and to like work with an element. And then there's a way too, just because I'm a pedant for all of this, there's a way that, I mean, the elements and the chakras are really interlinked, though now they're like descriptive, or like they almost seem like a kind of boring occult concordance chart. Like, you know what I mean? Earth is the root chakra, and like air is the heart chakra. And instead of being like, maybe my like solar plexus needs more earth, like maybe I could put a different element into a different part of me to affect change. Yeah, I'm into the elements.
You like it.
I'm into the elements.
One of my takes has been that I'm sometimes interested in, and I love that I can say this while knowing that I'm not the most knowledgeable person here about this, because chaos is in the audience, and it's just actually fucking fantastic to be able to be in that situation. But I'm very interested in understanding like historical, like magical concepts, and like hermeticism, like why did they do that, like what were they doing, what is that. And one of my takes has been that the study of elements has been for forming concepts that you can use to look at body experience, or all of your experience. And so the one way I think of it is, maybe the way the mind works is to see triangle-y things in yourself. You maybe need to, you kind of like look with a little triangle template. And so when you go looking in your body, you know, for stuff, you're going like triangle, 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 and then triangle-ish things kind of light up. I wonder if then, by studying the elements, you know, what is water really like? What is fire really like? What is earth really like? That people were able to awaken internal sensations and detect them by kind of echolocating. That's been one kind of thing I've been into the idea of. Talking about bismuth.
Can you say the last sentence just dropped out? Can you say that again?
Yeah. Just that the thought I've had is that that people historically, especially involved in certain occult or magical traditions, were studying the elements so as to produce like lenses for introspection.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever gets you in, like,
right.
I can't tell. Oh, somehow anyway, there's just a delay. I thought I was talking over you. Like, whatever gets you in there, it's just that I feel like I see people getting stuck on the imagery.
Sure.
Like the sort of outside in without letting the sort of inside out. And the inside out is what informed those systems in the first place.
Right.
So to me, like, sort of map switching is really important. Like, what world am I building, or like working in, or living in?
Right.
And can I like be in it enough to entertain it, and then, but not hold it so tight that I can't entertain another like world possibility. And again, to go in and see what my tissues are telling me. But no, I think having a shape for something, or having a word for something, whatever, or something else, like, it is a way to paradoxically to differentiate, to then come back to the whole. Right.
Yeah, it could be. I do think it's interesting, because I guess because you teach this stuff, you may be running into situations where people are, I guess, being too heady about it, or too systems focused.
Oh.
Maybe.
Not necessarily.
No.
No, you know, I want to speak to, let's see, Chaos says more information processing features. I know this is kind of going back.
No, sure. He's talking about the perovskite.
That's not my territory to talk about, but fair to say human nervous tissue has more information processing features than bone tissue. Our bones are richly innervated. And I'm going to say no, not information processing, but true. I mean, I don't know. Our bones are richly innervated, and like to even separate like our body into systems is kind of like what I was just saying, it's a way in and it's really helpful. But I could be like, what is my like osteoneurocellular system doing? Like I could also create frames where I like combine a few, and then really like they don't know themselves separately. Maybe that's a clearer way of saying what I was saying at the beginning of like when I said like a part of me likes knowing the names of different parts of my body, but I don't know if those parts of my body know or care about those names. That that like it's a really helpful tool sometimes to like separate my body into separate systems, but the systems do not know themselves separately and never have.
Bagua is the motherlode of gratuitous correspondences. Whoa. It's a hell of a...
Yeah, this is something pretty new for me. Something to visit later.
Oh yeah, by the way, audience, we can do calls if anybody is curious about something and wants to get on voice to ask about it, but also just shooting the shit in chat is a great way to do that as well. Maybe I will throw up this Wikipedia page just because it is insane. Just
so how are we doing on to call, by the way?
Well, let me try to call one more time. So the problem was I teleported to the number that Lithros gave me, and then I ended up in what looked like the forest. But it could just be that I missed some ancient city or something like that, or that I typed in the teleport wrong. But if I go there again, yeah, this is what he said, 17.11, 131172. He said I should be here. I don't know if Lithros is still here. Presumably he is. But you don't know what we're looking for. Is it a city or is it like a region?
Oh no, it's like, I mean, it was a city. It's like ruins.
Oh, it's like ruins. Okay, I'm gonna go down. It just might either they might not have it. Uh-oh. I think I'm also gonna crash this. No. We're gonna try to not crash this plane. Like, is it this? Oh, let me just pause really quick. What have we here? That looks like a patch of land. I don't know. I basically I did teleport there, and now we're gonna crash. This happens. Can we get air again? Yes. Okay, we got air again. So I don't know about Tikal. It might be somewhere here. I'm gonna go look at that little splotch over to the side.
I didn't know it would be so hard to find.
Well, it's just possible. I am not good at typing in the let's look at this thing and see if this might be it. It also just might be like, I don't know, do you remember if it's like visible from the sky or if it's like covered in trees?
When I saw it, I was down on the ground.
Right, but was it like really trees all over the place, or was it more open?
Yeah. But then some of it is kind of like, plazas and clear.
Right. They might have just not rendered it so well. Let's try a different. Let's try Teotihuacan, or another South American one. So this music just got wacky.
Yeah, I wonder if Teotihuacan will be easier. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's less jungle and more like barrio around it.
There's also like Machu Picchu.
Yeah, I haven't been there in person, though we could go there. We could go. I've been to Peru, just not Machu Picchu.
All right, make a call.
Yeah, let's go to Machu Picchu.
All right, latitude, longitude. Let's give this a try. Teleport window 13.1 6, 3, 1.
You think it's not modeled. I trust you, Lithros. You're somehow like, I don't know, what is your role? Oh, looks a little lame. Okay, so you already know.
Lithros is like unofficial consigliere.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, I've just
I'm grateful for
teleported to
your
somewhere that
support, Lithros.
I've teleported to somewhere that is definitely not where we wanted to be, because this is the ocean. This is bullshit.
I mean, I'm cool with flying around. I'm pretty goalless. Like, to me, it's sort of a formality to have to pick something, but
No, I know. It's just fun.
or maybe we go. We could go to the Black Rock Desert. We were talking about like,
Oh, yeah.
or I was talking about like the emergence of
Do you think they'll...
civic structures. Actually, that would be a way to get back on track. Talking about talking about some of the stuff I wanted to talk about as relates to embryological development.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this in. So, 40.
Yeah, and and I'm going to say, to be clear, I think that like, yeah, maybe like bone probably, I don't know. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to make a judgment. I don't know. I can't know what information processing capacity the things around me have. I can't really even fully know what I have.
It's interesting because we had Dan Listens To on, who was talking about the hypothesis that plants are conscious, and also we had Tashin on talking about the same thing. And there's a sort of vibe here. All right, we are. I teleported to where it says Black Rock City is. I don't know if it's going to be on the ground, because doesn't it disappear? Also,
yeah, maybe they probably didn't map it, but we could find the desert.
Because where I am...
So,
yeah.
No, I'm just kind of looking. I'm just going to talk a little too.
I was just going to say, this looks too hilly. I remember it being flat as hell. I've been there one time.
It's hilly around it. Did you go to a burn?
Yeah, well, once.
What year?
This would have been maybe 2014.
Right on. I was there then.
Oh, cool. Maybe we hung out. Who knows?
So, yeah, it's somewhere in between the mountains. You know, but it should be a big stretch of alkaline playa. But anyway, I mean, we don't have to go there. Again, we don't really have to go anywhere as far as I'm concerned. But like...
I'll cruise around. So
this is kind of in line with what I was saying about like embryology sort of informing my philosophy, which am I a practical person? I don't know, but I tend to like experiential reality informs my philosophy and beliefs. And so in the way that like the sort of like self-creating emergence of us when we're embryos is important. You know, like, and what I know about it, I have learned from moving or trying to move in the patterns of my cells, of like trying to do it. So I'm practical in that I am interested in, like, I don't think we can just theorize. I wanna like, as much as I can, experiment in the real world with how ideas play out, so they're not just ideology. I guess that's testing theory. And so even if it's like kind of a corny thing people say all the time about Burning Man, like it really, like going there and experiencing it and kind of, and reading some too from Larry Harvey about how the civic structures that we have there now emerged has been really important for me, like understanding how social structures and maybe eventually how government is created. And again, created out of a need that is in service of the agents that created it.
Right.
Which is not what I think is going on.
When did Burning Man
Now.
start? Was it the 90s?
Yeah, this is a more of a, was it 89? Also a sort of a Hap Savage question. He was there at the first one at Baker Beach when it was in San Francisco.
Oh, wow. Baker Beach. Oh, I've been there. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Johnny. I mean, the Rangers are impressive and like just man, just impressively dorky too. Like they're definitely, it's funny, like, you know, like any city, right? There's so many subcultures, and the Black Rock Rangers are a really funny one. My impression is that they really want to be helpful, and I'm glad for their presence there. I'm not saying I'm not grateful for it.
Do you go back all the time, or more of a few times?
Yeah, no, I want to go other places. There's such a big, wide world, but then I'm like, I always want to go back there.
Yeah.
There's just nothing like it.
Yeah. The first time I tried one notable substance was there, and I walked out of my tent and looked around, and I thought to myself, I finally understand what this place is and who it's for. That was my thought. It's people.
But you finally understand.
Like, well, I mean, it wasn't like a deep philosophical insight. I was just like, this is a playground for people on drugs, or at least that's part of what it is, you know.
For sure. I mean, yeah, that's definitely part of what I love about it.
Right.
Yeah, and but it's just, I don't know, you know, I want to say more about it. Like, I guess also it's a place where I've gotten to experience what it feels to be like in a really different community, like in a different society. And it's not like interwoven with, you know, default world society, but but it feels different, and has like that taught me. I mean, I like to go back to experience that difference, but it's also taught me something about creating community, and how we can create spaces that really feel different.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, the people asked me if they should go, and I said, well, if you were going to go on a vacation to Europe, and you could spend the same amount and have a far less unique experience of the world. Like if you were doing like travel to learn what the world's like, you'd have a less crazy time in Europe, probably. Depending on what you did. Obviously, I'm not saying it's like whatever, but
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I do want to travel, and
right.
But then I end up going there instead of other places.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I'm just screwing with our settings to try to get a little bit smoother video. I have to say, I like the visual of your setup, by the way, because there's a lot of great color combinations and coordination going on, and it's just awesome.
Color's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so is moving around and fidgeting.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Actually, maybe it's time. I'm going to excuse myself for a second, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Totally.
But I can mute myself on Discord, right?
Yes, there's a little microphone at the bottom. I'm also going to grab a little snack. Extracurriculars will def get a fellow on that empathizing with trees wavelength. Hell yeah. Apparently 𝕙𝕤𝕤 gets used as a source for Wikipedia articles more than you'd think. That's interesting. 𝕙𝕤𝕤 is just intense as fuck to read. Like some of these descriptions are just crazy. It's like just reading a person's description of their experience is like enough for me to kind of have a little bit of it. Let me look up this bagua. What have we here? 8 symbols used in Taoist cosmology to represent the fundamental principles of reality, seen as a range of 8 interrelated concepts. Each consists of 3 lines. Okay, I've seen the 3 lines, but we got more than 3 lines here. Broken or unbroken, yin and yang, 0, 1, forming of binary numbers 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, 0 to 7. Due to their tripart... Yeah, I know about this. 8 trigrams in English. Oh boy, what is this? Holy shit.
Come on, buddy.
Is there an animal?
Maybe one of my cats will make an appearance. Maybe.
Oh, totally. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. What is happening? I don't know if you saw this. This Bagua article is magnificent. the 8
Yeah, wow.
the 8 categories here are the lines. You know, the line combinations. And it goes deep.
Yeah, wow.
Oh man. Mythological figures, different dragons. I didn't even know there were different specific dragons. I gotta close this so I can fly the plane. I like your mug as well.
This is a really beautiful mug that Hap got somewhere in Japan.
I always wish people would say they got it from this online shop that you can get it from too, but it's always like Japan.
Where you could get it from too?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's more legit this way. It's better this way. Chaos says keep scrolling down. Oh, Jesus, it just keeps going. Holy shit. This is fun. Jesus. Now I just need someone to combine it with Harry Potter houses and we'll be good to go.
It's Wikipedia. You could make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's how that whole thing got to be that way. Or something like that.
Yeah. We did get questions from people on Twitter.
Yeah. Is that your job to keep track of those questions?
I try. Yeah, where the hell did I put them? I got this. I'm going to use Twitter's magnificent search algorithm to type my entire username and your entire username.
I wrote it down somewhere here.
Oh, I found it.
You might be okay. You might be faster. I thought so.
I don't know if any of these appeal to you. I don't know which of these are offensive and not. So I kind of want you to pick, but I also could just hit you with it and you can pass.
You pick.
I'll pick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Polycon. Oh wait, Hap Savage. Okay, you know Hap Savage, but I do want to. These are good questions though. So I do want to hear about this. Hap Savage dropped like 8 questions. Number 1 was what is love? Number 2 was how do psychedelics and / the poison path work? Sorry, let me try again. How do psychedelics / poison path work figure into the embryosophy thing? I would love to hear what that even is.
Oh, that's a good question. It's funny. Like I thought thought all his questions were easy. how does it figure into the embryosophy thing? I mean,
And also, what is it for the noobs like myself?
yeah, so like, I mean, so the poison path means kind of titrate, or the way I take it to mean like, or practice it as like titrated use of poisons, which could be psychedelics or could be other polluting substances,
Mm.
to learn more about my consciousness. Come on, buddy. Come on. Yeah. Oh, can you
Yeah.
see him?
Yeah.
I
it's
hate
up.
this delay. Hang on. Oh, well, he's gonna do his thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For a second, I'm gonna have it on where I'm live, so I can like point it at him. But I'm not gonna show you that part of the room because it's messy.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the poison path, and hey, buddy, and yeah, I mean, like, it's funny that I'm kind of freezing on this question. I have maybe it's like spliff time, and that'll like free up more capacity. It's a long time in front of a screen
machine.
talking for me.
Imagine being me. I live here.
You seem really good at it.
Yeah. This has been my poison path, is consuming the poison of being in front of a screen since I was 0 years old.
You know, that's I kind of like that way of thinking about it. Even if it's not exactly my way, but so okay, so I can tie it into embryology really specifically, which may not be of what Hap was asking for. Yeah, he's telling me to blaze it. I may, but I'm worried I'll just get like too. Anyway, I'm really circuitous, and I can always imagine, or I manage to come back, but like sometimes it gets really, I get way out there before I come back.
Yeah.
So our cells have different like capacity for differentiation, and they start out as totipotent, so sort of omnipotent in a sense, meaning they can, like a stem cell can become any kind of tissue. And then in their stages, and I may not be saying them all, but then there's like pluripotency, where there's some options, but some have been foreclosed upon. And this is all in the process of either proliferation, which is just more cell growth of the same kind, or differentiation, where a cell makes different things, makes choices, and decides to specialize. And mostly in the march towards adulthood, we make choices and don't go back. But there's starting to be research that shows that we can make a choice and then regain some potency in certain cells at certain times. I don't have any examples. That's like what I can say about it, like off the cuff.
Right.
But I mean, for me, I'll use I statements, like that's what psychedelics have done for me, or any way of exploring my consciousness has done for me, which has been, psychedelics have been a big part of my path. But movement is too. Like when I was talking about the tone of the room or vibe earlier, like the feeling tone in a room, it's magnificent how it changes, and the kinds of, with like attention and now I'm talking about somatics again, mate, with attention or touch or like moving together, or singing together, the kind of like the strange emergence of being together and exploring consciousness is making me lose my words. And anyway, so any way we play with consciousness, and poisons are one of them, has the capacity to, well, we can either double down on our shit if we have a bad framework, or we can open up the possibility of new pathways, and literally in the like neural pruning, or the like some scaric dredging, or I don't know, we call it a lot of things, but the kind of, or what am I looking for? Default mode network, like getting out of that default mode network is maybe like my most traveled pathways during the day, when I'm kind of doing my thing and in my habits.
Right.
Yeah. So getting out of those.
Yeah.
So I'm maintaining some of my like pluripotency. That's how I'm going to tie it back into embryology. Yeah, but exploring consciousness too. Actually, I want to put a finer point on that it's not just about the drugs, but about anything that we do. And I really I've been a 𝕙𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 my whole life.
Right. Yeah. What do you think of so the I had two questions I was thinking of asking you. One of them was well, here, what do you think of religion? I mean, yeah.
That's the question?
Yeah. That's the question. The subtext of the question is I don't know. Some people like have strong opinions, like Christianity's the thing that messed everything up. It severed the mind and the body, and like, but some, and there might be some truth to that, kind of thing. I may believe some weird things along that sort of like type of analysis, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. For some reason, it occurred to me to ask you that. I'm not really sure why it occurred to me to ask you that.
So religion means like relinking, right? And or maybe like I would just rephrase it and say like, no, that's great. That's a great question because I've been thinking about this a lot. So I recently, Hap and I are in a psychedelic book group and we've been reading a lot of source texts, and we just finished the ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚 or selections from the ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚 pretty recently. And so I think I said too, like not from the ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚, but from other Vedas, like part of my practice is some Vedic chanting. And like, can I make this concise? Almost never, but like, so where was I going? Religion is like relinking. And I was going to say, maybe I'll rephrase it as like, it's discovering the connections or the links that are already there. I think that's an important distinction and really operative for me.
Right.
So
the relinking
Vedic
idea is
chanting,
interesting.
I think of like Vedic chanting, and I think of what like the rishis or the sages were doing when they were chanting the Vedas, which may or may not have been, psychedelically induced, right? Soma. So as they were like, calling these verses out of the air, it sometimes gets called like ordering the cosmos. I've been taught by like my Vedic chanting teacher that sort of the practice of chanting is almost a kind of spellcraft for maintaining the human niche of ordering the cosmos. And the Sanskrit root is, I didn't read the whole article, but like, I think like maybe when Astral Codex 10 dropped, Scott wrote an article about ℙ𝕙𝕚, which is like part like the root that's in arithmetic and in other things too. But it is a kind of cosmic ordering. So I'm only dropping that because some of you might know it or have read it, and you'll know the word ℙ𝕙𝕚 or like cosmic order. But so the human, like we are like chanting to the elements and pacifying the elements, which are also like they're God forms, but they're also like elemental in this druidic way that really appeals to me in the Vedas. But it sort of occurred to me that it's not like, and this is the way I think of magic too, like personally, it's not about enacting my will on the world so much as more like sort of like singing in praise, and but I'm not, I felt like I articulated this better the other day. Like I'm not singing and doing something to everything else as I sing. I'm doing something to myself, which puts me in more coherent relationship with the cosmos. And that's what I think religion can be. I don't know if it always looks that way.
Yeah.
And I am a person that's been on record being pretty critical of like the Catholic Church and like Descartes and the beginnings of anatomy.
The beginnings
But
of
that's because
anatomy.
yeah.
Is it the
So
sort
the
of
beginnings of sorry, go on.
when we started taking ourselves as an object more or something like that? Is that the kind of idea?
I never really thought about it that way, but like when like this that oh, I mean that's like a whole other thing to talk about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can.
Yeah, because like Descartes and his relationship to the Catholic Church and
Right.
him like gaining the right to dissect bodies without it being heresy. Partly like afforded by a mind body or spirit body split, soul body.
So it's interesting hearing you talk about this stuff because I think I'm trying to receive it on the right wavelength, you know, and yeah, I feel like you're trying to you're relating a bunch of concepts to each other in kind of the way that you're describing. You know, you're talking about this sort of religious idea of, I don't know, I would reflect that back as something like, yeah, it's very like interrelation focused.
Yeah, no, that's like what I come back to. Again, like I said earlier, I think like relationship like that
Right.
is the spaces between that aren't empty are that's what everything hangs together because of that. Or through that. And so this is, yeah, what I guess I brought up the Vedas too, because I wanted to say there are a few verses in the Vedas that are like ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚𝕚 shloka krita, like I am the verse and I am like the link. I am the arranger, I am the linker, I am the arrangement, I am the connector, I'm the maybe that helps. But that are like, again, that are like establishing like the importance of kind of the act of recognizing the linkage or connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then here's the other question I was going to ask you. I do feel like I got some information out of that, some knowledge out of that, and some of a model of what your sort of project is.
Yeah.
And then the other question I was going to ask is, so as a matter of practice, like let's say I came to you. So I'll tell you two weird physical things I have going on. One of them is my chest caves. Just does it.
Meaning like posturally?
Yeah. I guess I'm not really showing it that well on the camera. Like like basically like if I'm like this, like it wants to do this, you know, it just like kind of wants to suck in and whatever. And this comes up repeatedly when I do different embodiment practices, and when I do psychological stuff, I'll often get this. I'll often get my shoulders going up to my neck like this. It's very weird. My head wants to hang in this weird this just happens, and then often my shoulders will roll back at this really locked up thing. It goes in and out. And I've got this weird combination of like cyclical things. And so I have things that I do. Often the simplest description is I just pay attention to it. And this is how I make most of my progress with anything is just by paying attention to it. So sometimes I'm able to get into a state where I'm there with my chest and it's like energy flows are going in and out and it feels like things are like healing and changing and being better. But I guess like if I sort of came at you being like, heal me, you know, what kind of flow chart would you put that prompt through?
I would say, I would rephrase what I just said about religion, and that I would say that like this is part of what's wrong with Western medicine, is the idea of like a passive, like someone passively being healed and a healer. Like fuck that. I would say that in my training, like I'm an expert at something, and I'm good at looking at certain things. Like I have a detailed eye and certain knowledge, which is what I bring to the table in, let's say, the relationship if you come to me as a client. And so, but I'm not healing you. Like we're entering a space together where you can heal yourself. And so, yeah, and that's sort of, maybe that's a good way, if what I said before about religion wasn't clear. Like I really sort of believe that it's about like getting right with ourselves, which, like you said beautifully, is done through being. It's done through paying attention or witnessing, which is also not passive. That's a kind of participation. But I really believe in kind of adding the agency back in that was stripped away, and shifting where, like, again, then the power is in the relationship.
That's cool.
Because I am an expert on certain things, but I can't be an expert on the person in front of me. Only they are an expert on themselves.
So it's almost like the framing already has me going like, you know, the passive, basically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I just I don't find it helpful to feel passive.
It's interesting because in a lot of different contexts where I've been working with people, especially over a long period of time, sometimes over years, you'll get these states where the dynamic itself becomes like, can become a crutch in the wrong way, and it can slip past if you're not kind of being sharp about it, where the dynamic is, even if I've been the one who's been trying to be changed or improved by going to like a mentor repeatedly, sometimes that dynamic of I always come to you with a certain type of problem needs to be pushed to the next level, where it's like, you're not trying to necessarily add the teacher into your mental loop forever, or something like that. I like that framing, though. I like what you said. I think I might steal that.
Well,
yeah.
Cool. No, don't steal it. I mean, I didn't make it up. I stand on the shoulders of all of my teachers and all of you. And like, I want to say, let's see. Okay, so like, if instead of you being like, heal me, Buddhi, like, what am I doing wrong? I'll say, I mean, you're just doing the like computer posture everybody does.
Right.
And like, what I will say is to to lie on something and do a back bend, like just do it. Just like do it during your day. My back just cracked. Like,
it sounded so enjoyable to crack that.
Did you hear it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's really loud. It's great. I'm gonna do more of that in a little bit. But
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would say you notice it sometimes. Like, the worst thing is when we start to, and this applies to a body pattern, but it definitely applies to like emotional patterns or whatever things we want to change.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we start to notice them, it's like the fucking worst, because I'm like, fuck that again.
Right. Right.
So you're noticing it, and that's good. And like, these devices definitely bring us into this kind of flexion that's not so helpful for body comfort. And then tension patterns happen, and we're sort of like held in those places by them. So like, lying over things, or even just if you don't want to lie over something in a back bend, just like lie on your back. Everyone should just lie on their back.
Yeah.
I don't like to make a lot of generalizations or tell people what to do, but everyone should just lie on your back with your knees bent for like 5 minutes, and lie on your front, like with your head down, like on the floor. Till everyone would have fewer back problems if they did that. So
sometimes when
it might be about stretching here, like, so you were talking about possible, like, I know it sounded like tendonitis or fasciitis in your pec.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a, hold on, let me see if I can display this whole thing. Yeah. I've got a whole, like, hold on, I gotta get on my chair in a different way. So my issue is, and this is in one of the videos I show it, is so my body just goes left. That's the weirdest thing. So
it goes left.
So
yeah, show me what you mean.
Here I am, kind of maintaining a normal state. You know, I'm sort of maintaining this structure, but then it's like. See that neck thing again? The weirdest shit. But yeah, if this is just if I let my body do its thing, total twisting left.
Oh,
and
it goes twist to the left. Yeah.
Like hardcore. And then if I stay with it, it'll start coming back probably, but it will like it's like it comes over here and it wants to get something done and it doesn't know exactly what it wants to do.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that I'll let the body do its thing like this.
Did you watch my video? I know, Malik. It might help if you've already watched it. Then, I mean, also, Booty, what is your take on that question?
Yeah, you know, we're all like spiraled, and I mean, literally, like we move in spirals. There's nothing linear about us, and so. And all of our spines have a spiral, and something like 80 or 90% of people have a spiral that I think you could say is going like anti-clockwise the way you described.
Wait, what percent?
Is that true? 80 or 90%.
Goes left.
I could be kind of defining it wrong. Yeah, and so like I know for my spiral, this is where the delay just fucks me up because I'm used to teaching in real time, but my spiral like means that I like kind of in this part of my spine, I go this way, but then that means my tailbone goes to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's a spiral too. So like, so my experience is similar. So what I'm getting at is there are developmental reasons and reasons in our adult bodies why the spinal spiral goes that way. The spiral is, by the way, like what you would call scoliosis. It just doesn't get called an osis until there's a certain degree of deviation. So scoliosis isn't side to side, it's a spiral. It's sort of measured, that degree of deviation is measured two-dimensionally, but that wasn't my idea. But anyway, so I kind of feel like it's that, like I kind of feel like it's that. Because I notice too, like that I have this habit of sitting into this certain spiral. And I feel like if we don't, like in our lives, if we don't sort of take the time and effort to do the opposite, like I honestly just try to do the opposite thing.
Right. In
a way that like kind of feels uncomfortable. Like I'll try to notice it when I'm sitting.
Right.
Because for me, I'll go into that spiral because I'm like sitting more, is that true? Because I'm like sitting more on my right sit bone, so my tailbone's going that way, and so my lower back's going that way, and it's like there's like a cascade, right?
Right.
It's all interlinked. So I would try to do the opposite, and I would say that everyone does that, and good on you for noticing, and that's what I think the spiral is.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
and there's some question about like how this happens. I have no idea how it happens, and I go back and forth between whether I think it has what combination of physical and psychological and like type causes. I think when it might be that I for decades slept with a twist of some kind. So that's one thing I've wondered.
But what I'm saying is the twist was already there. And so it's more about recognizing it and trying to do the opposite twist. I want to say, let's see what, like, how much time do we have? I didn't think I could possibly talk this long.
Right.
But I'm really enjoying it.
Before you said that, I wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, no, we did hit 3 hours, so we're formally we've checked the box, and we can go as long as you want, and I'll try to just not wake anybody up. So.
Okay, let's go a tiny bit longer.
Yeah.
Let's see. And maybe I even thought at the end I'd like call hap over. We had questions about setting up an intentional community,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we may or may not answer.
Yeah.
But so I want to answer Oyster's questions. Is a spiral an inborn thing, or is it because of excessive sitting or such? The spiral's an inboard thing, and it's because of excessive sitting and such. So it's there, kind of like I was just saying to Kurz, it's like it's there, but we're kind of going to go back into what's there if we don't undo it. I mean, it's even like you see with like elders, like we come out of the womb, you know, like, well, we're not elders when we're like youngers, but we like, you know, come out of the, or like this in the womb, and then we like literally push with our feet off the wall of the womb and spiral out and start to form the curve of our neck from the movement we perform being born. And if you're a C-section, your body finds other ways to perform that movement. Like this is part of why babies have tummy time and things like that, because our development literally happens from our movement. And that's some of what I meant about spatial cognition too. Like our movement is what shapes us. So there's a blueprint. They're like parameters of how our bodies will be, but we develop the curves of our spines, to take one small example, from how we move. Like running develops the lower back curve. And so we like come out and kind of burst open. And I feel like if we don't practice continually doing that, like as you watch folks age, we like go back to the womb shape in a way. We go back to like flexion, meaning rounding over.
Oh,
And
that's
I mean,
fascinating.
That's what I'm saying. And
It's like a hand or something. Just like opens up and closes again or something.
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And so, but I do think excessive sitting and immobility certainly can bring these things out, though the habits can manifest in movement too. But really the only thing that like guarantees pain in our bodies is not moving enough. And then Oyster Smith says 80 to 90% makes me think of right and left-handedness. Totally. Actually, I think Hap and I were having that conversation the other day because we were talking about this, and where either he or I brought it up. I can't remember, because we're like, you know, two halves of a brain or a cognitive system, and all of you are too, but can't remember which of us said it, but anyway, that like, right, like even like the way, like, sorry everyone, but even the way I like wipe my ass is like puts me back into my spiral, because I like lean on my left side. I mean, not everyone wipes their ass with their right hand, right? Whole cultures don't, but I do. And so I'm like leaning into my spiral just to like lift up and like wipe my ass with my right hand or whatever. But I do think I noticed, I think we were like eating dinner and noticing that we're both like leaning on our arm. And so leaning on my left arm, so my right hand is free, brings me into that spiral. But the spiral is there to begin with. Maybe the spiral informs handedness.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. You could check. You could see, like, do left-handed people tend to twist one way or the other?
No, actually, yeah, you know, you're right. I would be so curious.
Yeah.
I'd be so curious. Yeah. I wonder. Maybe that's like a future research project.
Yeah. No, you can just start noticing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's wild.
No, I'm going to try to remember to start like even just asking people. So most people have the spinal spiral though because of the density of the liver and the stomach and the way the spine sort of, you know, co-formed with them and their densities. Posterior chain handedness? Is this about ass wiping?
Thanks for coming by, Chaos. Awesome to have you, dude.
Yeah, thank you for coming by.
Great Bagua link and Harry Potter content. Also, 𝔬𝕗𝕚 for that hilarious link. Man, It's like the more I do body stuff, the more I think all I want to do is body stuff. And I guess you figured out a way to do a lot of body stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just you know what I mean. Like, I guess that's a life you've picked. You know.
It I feel like it picked me.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely I was like super unhappy with my job and like was missing out on doing yoga and but I don't know, it's funny. Some of it's like my path is mysterious to me. Like sometimes I'm like, why did I decide to be a yoga teacher? Like I felt like I didn't even, and then it just so happened that I sort of met the somatic people early on that like put me on this totally weird somatic path. But no, it almost feels like I look back and it feels like an accident, and there was something intuitive in me also, like that still was going the right way, even though I was like, okay, I don't even know if I'm doing this.
And I don't even know if I'm doing this. That was about what?
Yeah, I don't know if does that make sense to anybody else? No, just like I feel like somehow I stumbled into it, but looking back, it was clear. I mean, I guess hindsight's 20/20, right? That's kind of like storytelling, but looking back and like sort of knowing who I am, I can't see how I would have picked anything else. And at the time, it felt like both I had a deep knowing, but on the surface was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, no, the path, totally. The path, 𝕙𝕚𝕚𝕚, like the path is totally doing me. It's walking me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the somatic path.
It's making me just want to do body stuff. I already did a bunch today.
Yeah, me too, but I can often do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, the intentional community.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we could do the teaser. Is this the time? Is Tap even paying attention? I'm gonna invite him in.
Totally. Is this something I would have heard of, or have you tweeted about it, or?
I have tweeted about it a little bit, but and sort of, I don't know if I want to say against my better judgment, but I sort of was like, do I want to open this can of worms? But it's also kind of important to me, and it's important because, yeah, he's not paying attention. No, it's okay, Johnny. Like, I don't know, is that interesting? I wonder if what I have to say is interesting. It goes back to what I was saying about like being like, I'm like an experimental person, and I really like to see how crazy ideas work by trying them.
Yeah.
And so like, and I don't know, like I see the world, like the world often looks like it's falling apart, and I'm unhappy with a lot of it, and I don't really know how to address or fix that. It feels much more doable to this is good. It's kind of bringing things full circle to like address the emergence of you know, of community on a small scale, even if I'm still embedded in a bigger construct that I don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we get that philosophical teaser, or is there a more mundane teaser?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like some of this is really like our sort of shared project, Haps and mine, and some of it is even him. I feel like he could even see this vision of a intentional community before I could, probably just because of the places we were in our lives when we met, and I was still very much in this, like, I was just totally burned out and in this hustle, and like kind of had to pupate like a little pre-butterfly, like a little, yeah, I had to pupate before I could like be here and be who I am now. And so he's been writing like a manual and maybe inventing a religion called West Coast Tantric Psychedelic Druidry.
Uh-huh.
And so
Fuck yeah.
it's very non-dogmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and so then we've talked about like guiding principles, like does everyone have to meditate together in the morning? Like, do we all do yoga together? Like, we definitely work the land together. Or in, you know, that, because that's just part of the maintenance of having an intentional community, at least out where we are. And so, yeah. So we've talked about like founding it on those principles. Do we all like do, you know, psychedelic sacraments on different like, you know, celebratory days of the year? Today is one of them. But like, I mean, on cross quarter days or like on like, you know, equinoxes or solstices. And as we've talked to friends, like the friends we would want to come live with us, some are like, oh yeah, I would love all of that, but I'm not into psychedelics, or I love all of that, but like, I don't meditate. Or others are like, I love it, but I'm not, and that's the thing, I'm not a joiner. And most of the people I know or who would want to invite aren't joiners. So everyone's kind of like, I don't know, that sounds too dogmatic. So then it's like, how does a community cohere?
Right.
I mean, that's the question. That's the question that's being asked.
So,
yeah. So we're very much in the like figuring it out phase and the not starting the community yet. But I mean, when does a community start?
Right. Maybe it's an idea, you know.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
some type of movement, perhaps.
Yeah, you know, it does feel important to me to talk about it a little, even though it's so like nascent right now.
Yeah.
It's important for me to talk about just because I can imagine being myself like a decade ago and being like, wow, those people are doing that. How could I do it? I'm not in a place where I could do that or something. So I do feel like just modeling the possibility and being like, you can blow up your life and move to the woods or whatever,
Right.
or move to like some compound in Detroit or something. That would be a good place to like buy a whole city block and have a commons in the center. And like,
Right.
it doesn't just have to be in the country. We want it to be in the wilderness, but I think there should be urban versions too.
Yeah, a thing that changed how I think about this whole topic was learning that in the 19th century there were like 20,000 or some astronomical number of basically in some versions of intentional communities attempted, and they might have been socialist or they might have been utopian, they might have been just like all, you know, 19th, we're talking about like, you know, 1800s, right? And so in addition to all of that happened in the 20th century that you hear about more often.
Right.
And just the like, I don't know how much of a human universal it is, but it's definitely like an American universal. It's like definitely been part of the American experience, is just trying shit, and splitting off in different pods and seeing what you can do. So I find this stuff fascinating. I've been involved in different groups in the past and offline. Maybe we could chat about that more.
No, I would love to. Oh, sorry. I would love to, because I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to ask you maybe now or maybe some other time just about, I mean, you and I have really different like utopian visions, and I've been calling mine topian lately to like also like try to unburden utopian. Right. And yeah, you have very different ideas than I do. Because you talk about like the like, what do you call it? The like company town.
I've thought about the company town, yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
This is not for me.
Okay.
I hate the sound of it so much.
But we could suss out how much of it is the sound of it and how much of it is the reality of it.
No, totally. So you and
Yeah.
we should have a conversation sometime, because I'd like to
Right.
see. Yeah, totally. But I just like
Yeah.
immediately react to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it right now too. You know, just a little bit if you want.
Well,
But
tell me a little bit about the company town then, if you have time. Tell me.
so here's the thought process. I'll tell you the thought in the spirit of my guess at what embryosophy is. I'll tell you about the genesis of the idea. So, one thing so community is very important. Community is getting shredded in the modern era, I believe.
Yeah.
And one thing I've just noticed is you need those life fundamentals, right? So you need those fundamentals set in a way or stable enough that that itself doesn't get in the way of community. So people will move for their spouses because spouses are so damn important, right? People will move for jobs and livelihoods because people care about their career and whatever. And so at least those things seem to gate people staying like physically in place. Like it needs to, that's the economic side. It's like, I'm thinking, how do you build community? Well, what are the bones? You know what I mean? Like versus what's the basic, most simple structural requirement? And so now, interesting question whether community can exist on the internet or in what ways and how that might change with technology. 2 is interesting question, how different of social forms you want to experiment with. So like income sharing as a group of 8 people is crazy. No one does that. Like some people, you know, but that's that already. I just said like the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, I don't know, let's just do literally communism or something. It's like totally crazy. And if you really think about what it would take for people to do, maybe a terrible idea, you know, whatever. But and I'm not against experimentation. That's part of the thing is that I'm really not against experimentation.
But some, like I don't, I'm too enmeshed in this world to imagine. It's like it's good. It's been a good teacher to combine an income with one person, but I can't imagine doing it with 7 others.
Right. Who knows? It could be that there's a type of social bond you could build with other people over 5 generations or 3 generations, and then you might.
I mean, some things could be shared. I'm going to think about it. I want to like parse that out a little more.
Yeah, because that's true. It's hard to even know what the map of options is, you know.
Yeah.
But then anyway, the company town is about working in the same direction. You know, it's about having a shared project, and the company doesn't have to be making like, you know, sealant for you know, linoleum toilet, you know, whatever. I mean, like not that there's anything dishonorable about that, like but it doesn't have to be that. And this is one of the other dimensions I think about is, you know, the monks making beer, right? Monks get together.
So now I can get down with it. Sorry, tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, just that monks made beer so that they could have income and live and do monk stuff. And when I think about the company town, it's a little bit like that, but I'm adding a little bit more like the company would have probably a bit stronger of a role in the monk's life than the beer would, in my vision. You know? But then again,
beer's pretty powerful.
Those guys love beer. There's a series of pictures. It's like monks smiling at beer, I think is a subreddit. So they seem to love their beer. But anyway, I just said a bunch of stuff.
And they make really good beer. Back when I could drink glutinous drinks, like Trappist ales were my faves. And like all the Belgians. Yeah,
𝔽𝕝𝕚. It's my favorite.
Yeah, 𝔽𝕝𝕚. What was my favorite was like saisons.
Oh, interesting.
Just like farmhouse ales.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd be better off if I didn't consume gluten, for what it's worth. I just know I would be better off, and I'm not doing it. I've gone through periods where I've done carnivore before and other elimination diets.
Yeah.
But what do you think about
a lot of them
my company
too.
town, though?
Yeah, sorry.
No, but give me your reaction.
Yeah, so you're drawing me in a little bit more, talking about like framing it as like monks making beer, and now I can relate to it more because what will have to be kind of a like like um, maybe you could make some neologism with like monks and like monster or something, but I'm gonna leave that up to you,
Yeah.
Oyster. No, because like a lot, like our whatever our community is, like we'd also just like to have community here because we are kind of out in the middle of nowhere and we're near a cool town and like
Yeah.
can travel and whatever. But like in day-to-day life, it's nice to have community. And I mean, already it's forming around work. Like a really good friend of ours happens to like own a parcel of land like just across the street from us, and like she comes over and gardens with us, or we've been like helping her put up a yurt. So there are like already the community is kind of forming around work and around like mutual aid without the expectation of like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, though that is happening. Just more like it's nice to work together. We get so much more done doing it, and there's so many projects that need to happen here. And so we've been scheduling, like that COVID has derailed some of it, but we've been scheduling work weekends and things like that to get shit done. And like so I'm starting to connect to your model around like a shared project. And I think it's just the word company and me like being a person who's never, it just like the corporate ethos and the sort of like conforming to it, and like like the party line of it is just like so hard for me.
It sort of is a joke. I think probably when I say company town, it's maybe not so much of a joke, but because there would be a company in it. I am imagining it being kind of like early Disney or something like that, but maybe. But there's a joke that a friend of mine used to make. So we would work together on projects, and we thought, what should we call our collaboration? And he noted that he liked being the behind the scenes guy, and I liked being, the name of the brand, like the out front, like taking credit for stuff. So he said, why don't we call it Kurz Corp? And it would be my and his company. And that was the joke, right? And so I like putting Kurz Corp on stuff just because it's sort of been this joke over the years.
I have noticed that. No, I've noticed that. I actually, I liked knowing that it's tied into your vision. I didn't connect those dots.
And it's not that it would be called Kurz Corp, but it's the Kurz Corp is the joke. Kurz Corp is like the glorious like corporate empire that I, some alternate world version of me has. But yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, right on. Yeah. No, and I think another question that I got was like, how do we keep it from being a cult? Which I can definitely, I look at the world and I can see the danger of that. Maybe it is, maybe saying this is like an immediate indictment of myself, but like, or makes me sus, but I'm like, I don't think we'll turn into a cult. Well, if you thought you would, you'd be probably worse off.
You're right. Fair. That's great. Yeah. That's a feather in my cap. But no, like, I don't think we will. Again, like we're kind of non-joiners, and like, it's because we're kind of inviting people we know and friends who seem like they'd be into the project. I know them all to be non-joiners, and I definitely wouldn't want to live near someone who had like, cultic tendencies, whether it was following or leading. Actually, that ties things back to like emergence and sort of swarming within systems theory, which is that like everyone has to be willing to follow and everyone has to be willing to lead. Like that in different projects or in different moments, we're sort of switching, but that it really works when like it doesn't work when it's all hierarchical, but also when people don't get to like change roles.
Hap said, talk about counterpower.
He's all like elsewhere, like I'm sleepy, I'm not going to come over there. And then he's asking the counterpower question. Why don't you talk about counterpower? Oh, I guess he wants me to talk about, I bet he wants me to talk about psychic warfare.
I do. I want to hear you about that.
I meant to, I even have the book here, and I meant to read it today to try to find the passage I want to quote. But a really inspirational book for me is David Graeber's Fragments of an Anarchist Anthropology. It's very cool and has stuff about pirate utopias and about sort of different, the way different communities form. And I couldn't find it. I'm not going to look for it now. And earlier I didn't try to find it, but there's he's working with some group, maybe in Madagascar, like a contemporary group of hunter-gatherers, and they have this intensely egalitarian society where some of it is social mores against power concentrating. So, and this is where I don't remember the details, but it's there are different measures in place around sort of shaming or ostracism where you about collecting power, but they also have this richly violent sort of spiritual ecology or noumenal ecology, or sort of parallel world of psychic warfare. And I really wish I could, I feel like I'm not doing Graeber justice. So if Hap is listening and can remember more than I can, maybe he can chime in. But
you're saying in this culture, they do psychic warfare?
Yeah, and so there's this intense sort of psychic battles being fought that are helping to balance the power so that they don't have to do that fight. I hate this distinction, but in the I was going to say materially, or in the material plane. I don't love that distinction. I love thinking it all being material, just kind of different wavelengths of light. We can't experience it all in the same way we can experience others, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
But they don't have to hit each other with sticks, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That sounds functional to me, interestingly enough. I could talk about
it does to me too.
Yeah. The downside is you do have to fight psychic battles all the time. I think...
I guess you're still fighting some, but...
Yeah.
I'm not in that culture. It sounds more fun.
Yeah.
It sounds more palatable. I'm maybe I'm kind of already doing that a little here or there.
I think the normal...
I can't imagine fighting real battles.
I think the normal world does some of that more than you'd think, but it's all kind of hidden and wrapped up in a strange aura of normalcy. I think the idea that the state of constant psychic war creates a society where power doesn't concentrate. It's a defense against cult formation. Constant psychic war. I think to me, it would have to be the right psychic war. So I think psychic wars can be horrible, and I think they can be elegant.
Well put.
Yeah. So one way that I think about this getting a little trippy, is that I don't really use the egregore concept myself, but I'll use it because other people use it. It's that the gods are partially an integrated social psychological phenomenon, and so a society believing in some set of gods makes those exist for them, but for real exist for them, not they're not there being ironic about it. They believe in the thing and it is real, to them. But anyway, it's social coherence helps to make a consistent pantheon.
Yes. And the pantheon makes the social coherence.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maintaining a narrative in a way, and then in your group, the narrative will become its own thing. It's what do you fight over? You might have to see, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's what calling down the Vedas out of the air is ordering in the telling of the story. It's simply storytelling. It's just what we do.
That's fascinating.
To me, that's, I don't know if others tell story, if non-human others tell stories, but humans are really good at storytelling.
So this connects to what I was saying earlier about feeling like a rock in this frame. Okay, because part of it is psychic war. So I do care about the topic of psychic war, and I do think we're fighting psychic war in normal life all the time. Okay, so then for me, part of that is that when people are really vibey, and this is just going to be such a weird way to put it, it's like they're sharing saliva or something. It's like they're exchanging memes, they're exchanging all the time. But sometimes I don't want to exchange. Sometimes I just want to let it flow around me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. I think tap into your rockness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let the water just flow around you for a second till it's the right temperature. Yeah.
Right. And then part of it is I hope other people can be cool with that. I hope they can meta vibe with that. You know what I mean? If you find the right people.
Yeah. No, sometimes then there's a lot of there's stories, right, that might get in the way of that happening fluidly. In the form of there. So I didn't talk about the ℙ𝕙𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 paroxysm, but that's part of it.
Okay, what is it? Let's get to it.
Well, I don't know. What did I mean by that? Do I want to end on that note?
No, on reflection, your call. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, trauma is also a kind of storytelling, and like a really ingrained storytelling, right, where it's really lost all the potency, and it's in our tissues, and no, so maybe that's a lot. Maybe can I keep it brief? That the kind of like all the turmoil going out, like all the sort of wars being fought out there right now in this sort of default world, I just wonder how different they would be if we had better ways of managing trauma, which is kind of taking things in another direction. Which would mean, like, if trauma's when a story is like too rigid and keeps being replayed, and so and it gets triggered and gets replayed, and there's no way to like break out of the cycle and like create something new. And so, yeah, like it's rigid storytelling, and I feel like, what was I? Like I was saying at the beginning, being able to like be invested in the story to explore it, but also hold it lightly so you have your options open, so you maintain choice and aren't locked into like one way. Like, how different would things be now if we could manage that better? And I don't like want it to be a scale problem, but I'm a person that thinks of like hunter-gatherer or like, you know, Paleolithic groups as being never perfect, but being like, I like to tell a story that they are like a more sort of idyllic society than ours. That there's more room. Let me say it better. There's more room. This beetle just crawled in.
Whoa.
There's more room for social coherence, or more space, because like, I don't know, and that we've somehow fallen from that. Do I want to say it that way? I don't know. Maybe we'll wipe this part.
Yeah. I like that beetle. I can't wipe the beetle.
No, he's cool. It's the time of year where there are tons of these giant beetles, and they just find their way into your house sometime. Here you go,
So
buddy.
big.
Huge. That's one of the biggest ones I've seen.
Where in the general regions of the world are you?
In Northern California,
Nice.
in the Sierra foothills.
Cool.
Yeah. You're in Chicago?
Yeah. Usually, if for the last decade I'm in the Bay Area, but in Chicago for the pandemic. We'll see what's next. I don't even know what's next.
Got you.
Yeah.
If you come back to the Bay Area, let me know.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to just to hang out, see where you've gotten. You know, with
we'll
the
see.
project.
Wish us luck.
No, totally. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have a thought? I was starting something, but
Start your thought.
okay. What even was it like? I feel like I'm getting a sense of different spaces in your mind and how the ideas connect. I like the. I am seeing that consistent ethos, and I imagine it's even more complicated in real life than what we've been able to get to in this brief time. But that the consistency of the ethos of like the innate intelligence of things and the body, and the sort of I feel like there's an effort to unify across different spaces, and that's awesome because that's what I try to do in my own way, and it takes a very different angle because I end up thinking a lot about history and trying to integrate knowledge of the past with knowledge of the present, and that's a different type of like, defragging process. Like, so hard to see a consistent story, and the one you come up with might be wrong anyway. That's the kind of challenge there.
Yeah.
But anyway, after this conversation, I do want to do more body stuff. So there's at least that. I received that vibe, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to hear you talk about the twist as well. I hadn't thought that everyone would have a twist or that they're that common or something. I don't know what I
Yeah,
thought.
everyone has a twist.
Yeah, it's so weird with me because it also corresponds to. I have like kind of less sensation on my right side, on my back. Not from an injury or anything. I just can tell that I don't feel it consciously as well.
And I wonder, like, which way it flows.
Mm.
Yeah. That might be a mystery, but I feel like you could spend more time with that part of your back.
Yeah.
And see if it can like find its aliveness again.
Yeah, it gets trippy for me. I get emotional stuff and I get weird visions when I spend time with my back.
Yeah, all that can come up. No, that's what I've learned through like doing body stuff is it's really like talk therapy is awesome. I wish everyone to have access to that. And, but it's not, and it's been really helpful to me in my life. And I get something like another kind of therapy from the, like exploring the movement.
Right.
And it's sometimes just surprisingly, not necessarily physically painful, but like emotionally painful stuff comes up. Like,
oh yeah.
That's why I say it's in our tissues, and it just, and that's part of the great traumatic paroxysm is it's like this sort of shudder that just needs to express itself to as a kind of purgation.
That's interesting.
Maybe so there's like space for something new to come in. So we never get rid of things. We just like, we learn in like overlapping layers.
And it's important to remember that about trauma too, even in the individual case like that. I don't know. I feel like often things are stuck because we want to keep changing them into some other direction than they're trying to go.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's true.
Yeah, the physical side of trauma, that is fascinating. So do you think it manifests in the body as like literal physical, in a literal physical sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like a pattern encoded in the tissue. That's all just a facet of the other parts of it we're experiencing. I mean, they're all sort of like experiential facets of the same phenomenon.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I probably should wrap up soon. I'm realizing because I got people coming to sleep here. Yeah.
I think it's time.
Yeah, it's a good time. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I am glad to have been able to absorb some of your thoughts here. Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's been so fun. I'm so honored to be here. I'm grateful. It's great to talk to you and get to know you better. And thanks for all the questions, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. We had some great questions today, and kind of it's interesting getting people's reactions as the stuff comes out.
Totally.
Awesome. All right,
Perfect.
I will wrap this here. Yes, thank you, Johnny, Spider-Mensch. Thank you, Hap. Thank you, Oyster. Got a lot of people from earlier. Absolutely excellent flight. All right, well, good night, all.